Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. I'm like giving nobody time to get here. I just like started right up. Nobody's here yet. But I'm late, so that's my bad. Hi. How's it going? Anyone watching the VOD? You're hearing what live viewers didn't because I started very late. But that's okay. 30 minutes or so. But we're here. We're going. Just there's a lot going on right now for me, so I'm like just trying to juggle a lot of stuff. What's up, Cogs? How's it going? Welcome. You can legit say first if you want. You can do that because I didn't do the long starting soon. Yeah. I'm okay. I'm good. The bat signal reached India at least. What's up, Tenmei? How's it going? Nafty, what's up? You ready? Awesome. I wasn't, but I'm doing it anyway. Is it cold in Texas? It's not too bad right now. What do we get right now? It's pretty nice right now. It's like 50 degrees Fahrenheit outside. Just nice and cool. Nothing wrong with that. It did freeze over a couple nights. Definitely not a lot easier than the rest of the country. I've always said this. I've been saying this for a long time, but every summer I ask myself, why do I live in Texas? And then every winter I'm like, oh yeah, that's why. Alice, welcome. Glad to see you. Hope everyone's doing well. Just opening all my forms here. Okay, I think I'm ready. Get this situated where it needs to be. That should do it. Really wish they had a dark mode for Google Forms like they now have for Microsoft Excel. What earphones are those? These are the Truth Ear Critical Zeros. Best 50 bucks you'll ever spend on IEMs. If they're even 50 bucks at this point. This should be less. What's up, Arutu? How's it going? Mr. Sammy, welcome. Luke, welcome. Please, what I recommend is checking out the description of the stream, clicking the link there, and filling out the form to get help. As you can imagine, if I just help people as they randomly ask me questions without enough information given in chat, my help wouldn't be very good and it would be utter chaos here. So I have a form that you fill out that helps by asking questions that you should be asking yourself, because there's a lot of information left out of that form that you put there. Not actually. You put a decent amount. You said what kind of game you want to play. You said the resolution you want to play and your budget. But there is a little bit more to it than that. Robert, welcome. How's it going? 8 degrees. Wow, Nefty. Jeez, stay warm. Cold in Florida. Yeah, I mean 45. Yeah, see, it's 50 here. We think this is chilly. We do. We're wrong, but we do. It's okay, Luke. No problem. If it's your first time here, for sure, no problem. You know, check the description, click the link there, fill out the form, and you'll get on the list here. Be sure that you use the correct name. And by name, it means, as it says on the form, your handle, which is your username in chat, not whatever you use that I can't verify. Okay, that works. Try 15 in Indiana. No, thank you. I think I won't do that, Adam. I think I'm good here. Skeeter, welcome. Made it to New York. Awesome. Puggles, what's up? Google support says Forms has a choose theme setting with dark, light, or system default. Yes, Google Forms. I was talking about Sheets. I might have said Forms and meant Sheets. Warrior Sailor, welcome. How's it going? How's it going with me? Just a crazy, crazy week, but, you know, managing. Live from New York. It's Friday night. It is Thursday. 50 is motorcycle weather where I live. Yeah, it's hoodie weather. Hence the hoodie. It's nice. It's nice outside. Unfortunately, I mean, like, we wanted at least a little bit of snow, but it's just not going to happen in South Texas. I mean, it's happened twice, I think, in my lifetime. What's up, Jasmine? How's it going? Low of 3 tonight. Good Lord. 12 Fahrenheit in Chicago. Yeah. That tracks. That sounds about right. We still got snow on the ground from last week. It's been so cold. Good Lord. Yeah. I don't think I could deal with that because at that point, snow gets gross. When it's been on the ground for a long time, hasn't evaporated, melted, evaporated, all that. That's when you get that brown snow. I don't think anybody likes the sound of that. Please, no more snow. The power went out 8 times last night. Oh my God. Make sure you don't have that. You have your PC on a UPS battery backup, please, or at least on a solid surge protector. Okay, I don't plan on getting it anytime soon. Guess I'll ask you when the time is closer. Ha! There you go. See, those are the questions you should ask yourself. Like that first one. When are you planning on buying it? Because if you go out, like, I love giving out free help. Like I love doing that. But if it's too soon and everything changes, which it can in just a matter of a couple months, and then suddenly that recommendation is no longer valid. So yes, this gives you time though. Like if you're like, you know what, I have a goal. I want my PC to be able to do this thing. You know what? I'm gonna just put another extra 20 bucks aside, 30 bucks aside, here and there, here and there, here and there. Just try to get my budget up a little bit because it's an investment you make in the beginning. You can upgrade it over time, but in the beginning investment can be important if it's possible. If it's not possible, well, you can upgrade it over time. That's not a problem. Got a good UPS? Heck yeah. I had to spend 3.5 hours driving through Canada today. Could have done without that, but from where I live in Michigan, it was 4 hours faster to go that route than down and around to get here. Wow. You're driving through some serious weather. Warrior Sailor, yes, I have. They're trying to get me one, but the allocation is not good right now. We'll be talking about the 5090 benchmarks. Probably. I watched a few of those. But yeah, we'll get into that. Let a few more people shamble in since I started late and abruptly. But yeah, Warrior Sailor, when I first saw the Taro Milk Color over at Height's booth in Taiwan at Computex, I was super excited until they told me, like, you can just get the Y70 in that color and it looks awesome. But like, if you want the screen, they only had it in black or white. And I was like, are you guys going to get it to match the color? They're like, well, we're not sure about that. Well, at CES, they were like, yeah, we had them. We launched them in late December. I was like, how did I miss that? Why didn't y'all tell me? You knew I was waiting for that. And yeah, now you can get the touchscreen with a matching border for all 3 of those colors. So we're waiting on that. I told them I want to do a build with the thick Q80 AIO, all that stuff. So we have to wait for the Q80 to come out. So it's going to be a bit before I get all that because I want to do it all at once. Yep, those are some benchmarks. 32 gigs VRAM GPU. I don't think Nvidia are targeting gamers. Barutu, no, they're not. I've been saying that. I've been saying it's like if you're just gaming, it's not worth it. I mean, unless you just have all the money. But what's up, AJ? How's it going? Less Puggles. 5090 is not a gaming card. It's a workstation card that can be used for gaming. When I asked Nvidia about this, I was like, well, what do you think about the whole thing about like internally, is the 5090 viewed as a prosumer card? And they were like, I was like, or is it viewed as a gaming card? And they were like, why not both? I was like, all right, fair. Because there are cards that are prosumer productivity cards, right? Like what used to be called the Quadro cards, right? Quattro is like an Audi thing. Anyways, yeah. So they have cards that are for prosumers in the like that are not rendering servers, right? It's just a GPU, but it's meant for that, not for gaming. So yeah, it's a prosumer card. But people don't care. It's the same thing that happened with the freaking Titan, which is why I guess Nvidia is not too wrong to just not call this thing a Titan and just have it be what it is that, man, it looks like I have super wide shoulders. I just have a different hoodie on the back of my chair. There we go. I'm not like shoulders like that. Anyways, if you want to just game, wait for the 5080. Those reviews are coming out in a couple days. That's all you got to do. If you are, now here's the thing. The main thing is this. If you're going to game it, if you really want it, no one can tell you not to get it. You can get whatever you want. If you have the money for it and it's not putting you in a bad financial situation, just do it. Fine. But if you're not gaming at 4K, you are wasting your money on the 5090. If all you're doing is gaming and you're not gaming at 4K, you are throwing money in the garbage. Okay? Remember that. So instead of, I mean, even then, and it might be the same kind of conclusion for the 5080. Who knows? It's probably going to be more towards both 4K and 1440p. But I want to see, because there was such a delta between the 4080 Super and 4080 and the 4090. I want to see if the 5080 can beat the 4090 in raster. I'm starting to have my doubts because the 4090, excuse me, is still such a contender. Anyone who got the 4090 should not feel bad right now. Okay? Just put that out there. Bye, Brain Chat. Sorry, I got a big day tomorrow. Hope everyone has a wonderful night. You too, Jasmine. Thank you for stopping in. Blank 90 has not been a gaming card since 30 series. Well, that's the thing. It started in 30 series. And even then, it was overkill for gaming at that time. But the thing that happened with the Titan cards was that was meant to be something that was like, this is not just for gaming, okay? But content creators kept getting them and being like, look at this Titan gaming PC. And it's like, they're like, all right, if that's what you want. And then people are like, oh, that's supposed to be a Titan card. And they're like, what do you want from us? We're already really bad at marketing. Like, you're really confusing us here. We're not good at marketing, and you're making us worse. I think Nvidia showed off a $9,600 96 gig Blackwell card. Yep, that's not going to be for the average person. That is going to be for someone who makes a lot of money off their PC. What's up, Braxton? How's it going? Braxton, I think I might have made a mistake with your build. I might not have included a cooler. Someone commented on the stream. Please check, and if I didn't, then we'll figure a cooler out. A CPU cooler. What's going on over in YouTube land? New ROG Strix 5070 Ti looks great this time. It does. It doesn't look bad like the last Strix did. Except the white one. That one looked really good. What's the chance of getting a 5090 in the first 3 months of release? Will G, if I could actually give you an accurate answer to that, I would have more than 30 8,000 subs or whatever. I have no idea. I'm going to tell you this. Getting one at retail is probably going to be somewhat impossible for a long time. And scalpers are going to make sure of that. Nvidia sure as hell doesn't care. They get their money either way. If you want any solid chance of getting a 5090, get it in a pre-built. And if you're like, but I already have a PC. All right, buy the pre-built, swap the GPUs, sell the pre-built. It's because system integrators get a separate allocation of GPUs from distributors, from retail. They get their own allocation at system integrators, PC builders, right? And with that in mind, scalpers aren't going to buy a whole PC just to scalp the GPU. That's very wasteful for them. The only money they want to waste is yours, not theirs. Turtle Nips, what's up? Running a 4070 Super now, solid 1440p for the 57. So the 5070 is right up my alley. If you have a 4070 Super, you don't need a 5070. Are your games already running slow? That's not an old card. It's one of the most recent cards out there. I mean, hard to say that now since new ones are coming out, but it's less than a year. It must be less. You must have gotten that less than a year ago, probably. Kind of horrified at ASUS's pricing on their 5080s. It's definitely a test run to see how much they can take off the top. Yeah, I mean, that's what ASUS does. That's what they always do. It's called the ASUS tax. There's a name for that. Thank you for the lurk, Skeeter. Appreciate that. Hope you have a good time in New York. There's no saying how there's no saying streamers are gonna upgrade. Maybe. A lot of them are sponsored, the bigger ones, so they're just gonna ask for them from their sponsors if they're sponsored by a PC company. I mean, everyone in OTK is gonna be going to Nick like, hey, where's my 5090? Where's mine? Sorry, Nick. That's gonna be rough on you, buddy. Thank you, Tough, for the lurk. I appreciate you. I actually just thought about that. I need to text him about that. I'm gonna ask him real quick. I know it's late, but ish. Let's see if he answers. I got to hang out a good amount with Nick of Starforge, the CEO of Starforge at CES. He's a good guy. He's super sharp. Dude is super sharp. Knows the business better than almost anybody that I've talked to in the business. It's crazy. Very savvy dude. True, I was just surprised since the Tough series was at least somewhat reasonably price competitive last gen. Guess I should have seen it coming with the recent mobile pricing. Look, here's the thing, Puggles. When you're pricing a product, you can drop the price after you launch it, but you cannot raise the price easily after it's launched. It's like when you're cooking. You can add too much salt. You can add salt after you cook, but you can't take salt out, is what I mean. So when you're pricing something, some companies will just go overboard on the pricing and just be like, yeah, just kidding, and then bring it down. But they can never ask you for more money. If people buy it at that price, it is worth that price. That is value. That is what something is worth. It's worth whatever someone's willing to pay for it. And yep. And I hate that. I hate that about how that works, because there's a lot of people who don't think about that. They're just like, I have to get this. Ryzen does it all the time. The lower CPU that doesn't sell within 3 months. Oh, yeah. Everyone does it. Every company does it. Jumping in to leave a quick like, Bray. Thank you very much, Steve. I appreciate you. Have a good one. Tenmei said, all the AI scientists will be eating good, especially since the equivalent enterprise stuff costs 10K easily. That's the other aspect of this, Tenmei. That's a really good point. You'll have to understand that getting a consumer GPU with 32 gigs of VRAM that trounces many of the enterprise solutions out there, AI startups are like, hell yeah, this is what we wanted. This is fine. $2,000? Are you kidding me? Give me 10 of them. Yeah, it's crazy. VTS, what's up? Hey Bray, think the 5750 Ti would be good for gaming and creating? Sure. I mean, they have new encoding. So it's a 9th generation NVENC on there. I would want to give that a try myself before I recommend it, but it's going to be really good. They've been leading the industry on that for consumers for a very, very long time. So yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be really good for it. There were boosts in Premiere Pro and DaVinci Resolve for the 5090, from the 4090 to 5090. And the 4090 was already a monster in those applications. So GFX design. Ooh. Okay. You're just saying a bunch of activities there, Will G, but okay. A bunch of applications. Okay. Open day ticket system, but I know it's going to be crazy, so not holding my breath. Thanks for the response. No problem, Will. I try to respond to everybody. Yeah, there's going to be people camped out, even in this cold weather. So get yourself one of those puffy coats, then maybe a tent, and camp out. And if you do it, buy two. Send me one. Friend got a 3090 during peak season. Sadly, he's too busy working from the office to use it. That's one of the things is like a lot of when people shifted. One of the things in the pandemic was people shifting to work from home. They wanted to have fun, good PCs to work from, and then maybe play some games on their breaks, things like that. That was just one of it. Then a lot of people getting into gaming cultures because they were stuck at home. It exploded in that time frame. The Penis Hammer Rocket logo company is also smart. Yeah, that's Nick is the CEO of Starforge. That's the company. Anime. That's the one I'm talking about. 8700F reviews have been lackluster. AMD skimped on the TIM. I was hoping for something cheap AM5 wise for the HT PC. I don't work with APUs very often, so I can't really speak to that. As someone who's never had a PC, would you suggest a pre-built or building my own? Alistair, they're both just computers. They are straight up both computers. There is zero difference after it's done being built or after you have received it. Except that if you get a pre-built, you have warranty and tech support. If you build it yourself, you are the warranty and YouTube is your tech support. So I'm not going to tell you which one's better, because if I just guess, I could be wrong. Which one's better for you? You have to decide that. My suggestion to people who are new to this is get a pre-built. It is guaranteed to work. And that's the main thing you want, is for your PC to work, right? And then you have a system that is already built, tested, and warranted that you can then, and most SIs let you do this, modify over time, upgrade it. Learn to build by learning to upgrade first. That's where most of us started. I'm a longtime PC DIY enthusiast. That was right for me, not right for everybody. But then at the time, I mean, well, and it was, I don't know, I was building PCs before iBuyPower existed. So, and yeah, that's about 25 years. So, it's not the same climate anymore. You can get a damn fine PC from many different builders that have different quirks to them. You might like this one more than the other. The mainline content, System Integrators Weekly, is coming back, guys. I just need to get to start up the workflow for that again. This week had to be a write-off. This week was a write-off because of family medical concerns. Family will always come first, and it should always come first for me or for you. But yeah, SI Weekly's coming back. Pre-built rebuilt is happening. Q1 2025. Q1 2025. Pre-built rebuilt happening. I have an awesome editor who's going to help me with it. And yeah, we're ready. Did you see Camino had 8X 5090 systems up for pre-order for $50K back in November or something? I was like, what? That is illegal. That is illegal. Oh, pre-order. Right. Pre-order. Yeah, that's insane. It should be illegal to charge that much more for something. The engineering behind those systems is incredible. I haven't seen those. I need to look at them. I built PC buying parts from Tiger Direct. That's right. Tiger Direct was a thing after. I mean, it wasn't a thing back when I started, but eventually was. I do miss Tiger Direct, but I miss the version of Tiger Direct where they did not have distribution in Texas, and then I was able to buy tax-free. You could probably hold off one more week on SI Weekly, probably. Sick PCs, how's it going? Welcome. Good evening to you. iBuyPower was founded in 1999. That is correct. Hope everything's okay with the family. Oh, you know what? I guess iBuyPower had been around because I was 13 when I first started. I was older than 13 at that point. I think I was like 16, 17, about 16 years old at that point. So yeah, I was already building PCs around that time. Hope everything was okay with the family. Yes, so everything's stable now. I did have to be away from here for a bit. And all of that. But yeah, things are stable now. Everything's good. A little touch and go there for a while. Very close to being like, hi everybody, I need to take like a month off. But thankfully that did not come to pass. I remember back in the day, buying from Amazon was tax-free. Well, they have distribution everywhere now. What's up, Angry Beaver? How's it going? Oh, there's an ad break. Oh, okay. I guess Sick PCs didn't hear that. Do you remember voodoo cards? That's showing my age. Yes. My favorite reference to that time was the battle between AGP and PCI. I was on the losing side of that, actually. I'm a PC DIY guy, but I hate being dedicated tech support for the family, pre-built all the way. That is one thing that I've said. There's a video that I was supposed to make for PC World a long time. I need to make that video. They still want it. They still want me to do it. But it's why DIY enthusiasts should care about pre-builds and learn about the pre-built companies. And one of those reasons was you want to be able to make good, intelligent recommendations, well-researched recommendations. I can help you with that. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast or not, unless you learn that market, you're not going to know it. You're not going to know who to trust. They still ask you whether it's a pre-built or not, though. What's up, Org Chaos? How you been? Doing okay? Yeah, I just had some family health stuff this week. So, unexpectedly serious, but everything's fine now. It just sort of took my attention away from everything else for a little bit. I don't like that because I'm very behind on certain things, but now that everything's kind of settled, I'm going to get a lot of stuff done tomorrow that I should have gotten done, last Friday or last Thursday or something like that, basically. Yeah. I'll go with building it myself then, because it would be less expensive and I like to learn new things. I mean, it is less expensive to build it yourself. There's no arguing with that. And I can help you with a parts list. That's definitely something I can do. But, that is up to you. Now, I'm gonna warn you guys ahead of time right now. Some of y'all, I'm gonna be telling you, hey, hold off for a 50 series card. They're launching on the 30th for 5080, 5090, and we're all extrapolating that February is when the 5070, 5070 Ti are launching. There's a lot of discussion around you know, frame gen and stuff, but at least it's good to see that the flagship card has raster performance improvements and other improvements. The downside is the improvements scale like exactly with the price increase, give or take. So it's like, it's not a lot of added value. I mean, because they just jacked up that price so much by $400 that any improvements they made are no longer impressive. It's whatever, guys, you're charging double the price of the next card in your product stack. It's not impressive anymore. Sorry about that. You kind of messed that up. Hey, Bray, what was the most fun build or coolest pre-built you've had own or helped out with? Well, the ones I did last this past Black Friday, Cyber Monday were really cool because I got to do 2 custom systems with parts of my choosing. That was really cool, and they were really a good value too. I placed a lot of stock in good value, good performance for the dollar, but also good solid part selection. But probably the coolest one is the one that I did with Skytech a while back. Skytech likes to do fun projects with me, and it's not cheap for them, but they like to do fun projects with me. Like, they don't care. Like, the video for that, I'm gonna look it up right now, did not get a lot of views. They do not care. Let me look that up real quick. I'll show you the project though.
Guys,
This only got 4.5K views. This only got 4.5K views. Look at this. By the way, what's up, Critical Error Computing? How you doing? You also can't buy the previous flagship anymore. So it's like, yeah, that's true. 50 series is like the 20 series, first of a new tech generation. We're having to figure out, we're having to rethink how we perceive performance. Oops, sorry. Why did you give up on me, camera? There we go. There we go. All right. We're having to rethink how we perceive performance. We're going to eventually have to rethink how we benchmark performance. And we need to get the variables out of anything using upscaling and stuff like that. We're going to have to get that worked out, because it's going to have to eventually be part of, because they're not going to, they're going to be, I don't know. Clearly they still put work into getting good rasterized performance, just pure rasterization performance out of these things. But like frame gen is really impressive as to what it can achieve. But let's see. So this was the one where Skytech had me go out, and they together we built this custom loop system here. I got to pick the case, I got to pick the aesthetics, I got to pick the graphics, although they worked on the graphics a bit, but I got to pick them and stuff. And it just came out looking absolutely sick. And then we gave it away. Let me see if there's a full shot of this thing. Well, that's it, not turned on yet. Recognize the music? I use it all the time. And it came out super nice. We needed to fill that a little bit more, clearly, but other than that, we needed to get the B-roll. Like, this was a very quick shoot for what we got from it. So that's probably the coolest one. What's up, John Paul? How's it going? If you mess something up, says Teme, it becomes twice as expensive, really fast for your first build, so watch a lot of videos. Yeah, I mean, that's what I said at the very onset. I was like, you are the warranty, and YouTube is your tech support. Hey, you're wearing that sweater right now, lol, deja vu. I am. That's right. One thing Jay commented on with frame generation is he wasn't sure about input latency. I think it was showing how it was improved. No, I think it was on Linus Tech Tips. On their video, it showed some improvement somehow. It was crazy. I didn't win. Did you sign it? I think I did. I don't think it's as bad as people are claiming, even with current frame generation. Yeah, no, I think it showed some improvement somehow, but they were like, we're going to have to come back to this. We need validation on this. Historically, it's bad, but on this new tech, so maybe it feels different than the numbers show, hopefully. I think you need, it's probably, they tested it with Reflex too, but I don't know. No, especially since they have their system to specifically combat input latency. Yeah, Nvidia Reflex. Once they figure out the artifacting and warbling from the AI frame gen, it will effectively be real frames being generated. The effectively there, that's a dangerous term. And I know the thing is, I was saying something very similar where it's like, guys, this is pretty much like, look, all frames are fake. There is nuance to that because some is generated by the game engine. Some is being generated by the AI. Yes, but they all came from nothing. It's all ones and zeros. So this is, in fact, a paradigm shift for the way we view graphics and how graphics happen. The thing about it is that that was kind of a similar thing that happened with ray tracing or path tracing. And Nvidia wanted that. And everyone laughed at them. They're all going to laugh at you with 20 series. And nobody bought it. And they were like, whatever. This is the future. And they stuck to their guns. And the industry had to follow. It did. It did. The industry followed. They have too much influence. They really do. It's like, oh, okay, all right, all right, no subsidies for you, and we're not going to provide these drivers for you. And it's like, well, we're trying to develop games. No, that's rough. Like, it's all just like speculation thrown out of nowhere. But like, what would you do? What would you do? You start including their stuff in your games. That's what you do. You start making it to where you have no choice but to use ray tracing in the game that you developed. That's what you do. Indiana Jones. For a good year at the computer store, we had to explain the difference between PCI and AGP. Yep. So I was saying the AGP versus PCI thing. Yep. Any thoughts on CLX? They're good SI. They're good SI. George, who runs the show over there, has been in the industry since some of the very beginnings of it. He was there with early Alienware, pre-Dell. Then helped found Origin PC. Now is running CLX. I suggested watching Greg Salazar's Fix or Flop YouTube series before venturing into DIY PC building. It's a good series. It is a good series. I've always liked his motto on there. Thank you for learning with me, because he learns stuff on that all the time, and he's been doing this for a long time. Doing good. Waiting for Hell's Kitchen to start so I can watch it and be in the stream at the same time. That's multitasking right there, JPB. 20 series sat on the shelf, not selling. Indeed, it did. People bought the 16 series instead to not pay the RTX tax, and those cards kicked butt for a long time. Chad says thank you. You're welcome. I've had multiple tries at working on contact with CLX that many of them were non-starters. I have this one interview with George that I put up before. Like, that's it. That was from PAX East 2023, I believe. And but I tried to do something at DreamHack that year, and I did not have it because it was delayed for me to get the PC from them at DreamHack. I couldn't rush to get enough footage. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that footage. How will we reach a point where the AI image generation will be precognition level of good? So basically renders most likely moves from clear already. Tanmade, that is a slippery slope we have to avoid. That's where it's going to be bad. We don't want predictive AI is a thing. It is a thing. And on a very infinitesimal level, they're probably, I don't know. Is it happening already? Either way, it needs to not be an actual thing. It needs to not be like that. Taking the agency away from the player like that, even in a small way, even nanoseconds, not good. Don't like it. Don't want it. Oh, okay. Thank you, Cogs, for the tutorial. I'll take a look at that later. All frames are fake. Brayathorn put it on a shirt. That would be a decent shirt. Is that case a thermal take case? Yeah, the Core P6. Where can I get the sides etched like that on that PC? I really been wanting to do that to mine. Well, Skytech did it for a special project. Skytech doesn't get enough credit for the special projects they do. Seriously, their in-house stuff that they do, building custom one-off PCs, is nuts. And I was like, Jeff, when are you going to offer that to customers who are willing to pay a lot for a PC to be super custom like that? And I don't just mean custom painted or something. I mean like 3D printing shells around them and to make just crazy stuff. Like they've made insane PCs in the past few years. And he was like, we don't know if there's a market for that. And supporting it after the fact is really difficult. I think that's how that conversation went. Don't quote me on that, but it makes sense. They haven't been wrong on the impact of game visuals, though. Ray tracing is a stunning improvement, but yes, they're also big fat bullies. That's the problem with them. That's a problem with Nvidia. That is the duality of Nvidia. It's like, yo, they're doing cool stuff, but man, they're super stinky. Nvidia, y'all make super cool stuff. Why you so stinky? They do stinky things. And it stinks. Seriously, look at what all the cool stuff the 5090 can do. And we charged an appropriate amount to reach that innovation, so it's no longer innovation and it doesn't feel impressive anymore. You did this to yourself. 5090's like, okay, cool. I'm not buying that. That is a whole computer in one piece, in one part. It was the same with the 4090, but now it's an even better computer. Now it's a whole mid-range, upper mid-range PC for just the graphics card. I kind of need it. I am doing more and more complex things in production here. I kind of need it, and I hate that. I kind of need it. And I've talked to a couple of SIs who are like, yeah, we'll do a 5090 PC, and then they get that what their allocation is going to be. They're like, we're getting 5. We're only getting 5 5090s. Sorry, Bray, you can't have one. I'm like, it's okay. I'm already on 4090, man. You're cool. It's okay. You get that bag. You've been needing it. Things have been slow. Go ahead. But on the inside, I'm like, we need Bray merch. Skeeter. It's exclamation point merch. I've had merch. I've been wearing merch in almost everything I do. I have merch. Been having merch. It's pretty nice too. And thank you for that, Sig PCs. Thank you for shouting that out. Temporal motion vector prediction. Wait, what was I answering to? What will more likely happen is that predictive AI will be a layer behind FrameGen that predicts the most likely next pixels for more accurate AI rendering. Yeah. EVGA made the 2060 KO, but 30 series had several LHR models. 20 series did sell to crypto miners. They had to do low hash versions. That was 30 series, like Sick PC said. I think it's a good development on AI. Even Jay said that from their test, it was taking the original frame and with each multi-frame seemed to just smooth out picture from there. So good with the nitty gritty. Yeah, that's Jay for you. I'm not sure what Steve thought on multi-frame gen. He just didn't have it in his tests. He mentioned, I think he mentioned something about it, and he was just like, we're not testing that here, which, like, fair, but the way they treat their AIBs needs to be talked about. EVGA was right to drop out. Yeah, they're not cool with their, I mean, look, part of the effort to make a smaller form factor, that's the 2-slot card, was to undercut. Like, they had a couple of years to develop that tech, or like a year and a half, however long Malcolm said that they took for it. But the AIBs don't get the silicon until way later than that. There was no way they could have kept up with that. They do that to undercut their own AIBs. At the core, that's their peak basic client, but we're also going to have to see what new AMD graphics. Issue with frame generations that it puts too many variables into the equation to test properly. If you want to test properly, it's very difficult to factor out those variables. Thus are puzzles. That's why I'm saying that's something we need to figure out. We need to figure out a way to reduce variables for testing. The problem is this: NVIDIA's refusal to allow their previous generations to use the latest software. It's software. Their refusal to allow that means that like-for-like comparison is muddied in a way that favors NVIDIA. What was I saying about stinky before? That's real stinky, NVIDIA. That's why you're green, right? Because you're stinky. Send me a card. Honestly, I didn't realize that we were creeping up on the embargo date because it's still a week until the cards launch. So I was like, there's usually embargo date lifts for reviews the day before launch. Like, what the hell happened? So I was going to try to reach out and see if I can get one rushed, but like, I'm not a priority. I'm too small of a channel. Corporations being stinky, say it ain't so. It ain't so. It's not true that I'm saying that, but you asked me to. 2060 wasn't even worth buying for ray tracing. A 1670 should have existed. 1670 would have been cool. Let's see. Investors / stockholders is why. Yeah, of course. I mean, look. A lot of stuff NVIDIA does makes good business sense. Some things excluded. 4080, 12 gig. But a lot of stuff that they do makes good business sense, but only in retrospect for some of them, where we're like, what are they doing? Why are they doing that? And then we see their market share go up. We're like, oh. What's up, Sailor? How's it going? Went to a 5090 install in my Veritech. Needed to control the energy weapons display. I want a 5090 to install in my Veritech. Needed to. Interesting. If NVIDIA made everything open source, all this would end. Well, their dominance would probably take a big hit. That's for sure. Anything that can, I mean, FSR is not bad. It's just not anywhere near DLSS, unfortunately. And then with AMD now making that not open sourced, it's like, you were doing so good, guys. You really were. You were cooking, and then you burnt it. 4000 will get DLSS 4. 4000 will get DLSS 4. Not well. That's the. If it doesn't get the whole thing, it's still not like for like, Ghost Pwner. It's just not. Shareholder equity is king, not us. Well, they are literally legally required, or I should say, they're beholden to their shareholders to make them money. That's their job. Once you're publicly traded, your job is to make your shareholders money. That's your boss, not your customers, the shareholders. It's not unique to NVIDIA. I seen the Toasty Bros had one in one of their YouTube shorts already. Well, yeah, I mean they have distribution. They probably just, I mean they're also an SI, so they're not strictly content creators. They're moving toward open source. I think they even mentioned that during the big convention. That's not legally binding, I think. Just mentioning that. Anyway, we're going to take a look and see who has filled out the form. If you have filled out the form and are waiting to get help, in chat, you must do one of two things. Either one. If you're in Twitch chat and you follow the channel, which if you're trying to get free help, drop a free follow. That'd be cool. Use the emote that states, I'm on the list. There's an emote just for this. If you're waiting to get help. If you're on YouTube, you can't use that emote unless you pay for a membership, and I hate that. So don't even worry about that. It's there, but I don't want you to feel like you have to do that to get my attention because you're on the list. Just type @Brayathorn, I'm on the list. You do the @ symbol, start typing my name, the rest will pop up, and you can just click that, so you won't misspell it. But let me know you're here. Typing my name in there will highlight the chat for me, so it helps me not miss when you say you're on the list. It didn't look as big as I expected to. I guess you haven't been following all the 5090 news. It's crazy. Yeah, what they did with the thermals is insane. 575 watts. If everyone bought Nvidia with their GPUs in 2020, we could have all been filthy rich. Yep. Increasing shareholder wealth, that is what it's all about for public companies. Well, that's how they entice people to buy shares of their company, which funds the company. It's publicly traded. That's how that works. That is how the free market functions. BC Racing Fun. All right, I see you there on the list. Okay. $575 gigawatts. Toasty Bros was funny. They use a separate power supply just for the 5090. That is funny. Think about it. Like, imagine running just a power supply for the 5090 and you're like, I don't think I want to run just like a 600 watt power supply for this. I don't think that's enough for this graphics card. I should probably get a 750. Good Lord. Anybody else waiting for help? Now is the time to tell me. I won't automatically know. Honestly, need a Back to the Future themed card. They are big enough to accommodate some different things, lol. Friggin' Mr. Fusion on the back plate of your GPU. Yeah, hold on, guys. I'll join the lobby in a minute. I gotta throw a banana peel on my computer. And empty a beer can into there, and then drop in the beer can. I do more than 1,000 watts. I would do higher than 1,000 watts. Believe it or not. 1,200 watts, probably what I would go with the 5090. Pouring some Schwartz for extra frames. Anything lower, you're going to be cutting it close. I almost think 1,000 watt. It's nearly a 600 watt. You have 400 watts to run the rest of your entire system with 1,000 watts. The entirety of the rest of your system. So if you're running anything that's going to be a high power, high frequency CPU, you're living on the edge, buddy. Like, you better get yourself something that's like 1,200 watts. Seriously. We also don't, I guess I didn't see any reporting on transient power spikes. I guess that we don't have to worry about that as much. I guess they got that under control since 30 series, but yeah. I think we should just plug dang thing into the wall. Someone posted a video of a throwback card that actually did that. I mean, it's almost like, well, I mean, yeah, no, I guess having a separate power supply is like plugging it directly into the wall, but managed by a power supply, I suppose. You think about this, if you have it plugged directly into the wall, it has to have the power management on board, and that's a lot of heat inside that card now to get rid of. That's why power supplies have fans. Most do anyway. There are some exceptions. Wonderworld is that thing. I don't know. I think they called it an infinity cube or something like that. It's just a little fidget thing. There you go. Transit spikes are also factored in and certified under ATX 3.1, so I definitely look for a rated PSU. There you go. Okay, Bean Dealer, I see you there. Welcome to the stream. I'm going to give you guys a reminder. Some of you are going to get the message, and many did on the last stream. All right, new GPUs are launching in a few days. Hold off for that. Here's the rest of the system or something like that. But for those looking for pre-built, not a parts list, you have a much better chance of getting a 50 series card. I'm telling you that right now. Now, if it's not within your budget to get one of the high-end 50 series cards that's coming out on the 30th, that doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about that. What channel is a convo on in Discord? I'm not in a voice channel on Discord. I don't even have Discord open right now. This conversation is on Twitch. If you're talking about this chat right here. Current rating requires V3.1 certified units to be able to handle 200% loads for 0.1 milliseconds. That's usually plenty of time for that. It's like aluminum alloy metal infinity cube fidge on Amazon. Well, this one was given to me by Trikes, so still don't have one of their coolers or cases, but I got this thing. And that's pretty cool. And that's pretty cool. Who was that, chat? Who was that? And that's pretty cool. Want to see something cool? Who is that? It's okay if no one gets it. GPU with its external power supply could work. Well, yeah. Exactly. I mean, imagine having a GPU that has like a gaming laptop size power brick and then just like, you know, a barrel connector in the IO plate, the IO on the back. You need a purple one. The purple will wear off unless it's anodized aluminum, I suppose. Sashibo cube. Sashibo? Never heard of it. The GPU transient spikes were over 600 watts too, but they were not as bad as 30 series. 30 series was nuts with the power spikes. Good Lord. I was having to tell people to get power supplies that were like more than 20% of what the system requirement was just to make sure that they wouldn't screw over their system with the power spikes. Because man, it was crazy how much those cards could spike. All right, I guess it's just Bean Dealer and RC Racing Fun who have some. I see more names here, but they might have left. Let me double check. Zane, I understand now that you're going from one PC related stream to another, trying to get your question answered. We don't know much about the 9070 XT. They're being super cagey about it. We're getting leaks and hints. That's it. You know, but I mean, sure, yes, probably. Because Zach ain't here. He's rated a couple times here, but he ain't here right now. Binary Theory, what's up? 30 series is why I have 1300 watt power supply, lol. Also, good evening, gamers. Good evening to you. What's up, Bone Shock? How's it going? You're not late. You're right on time. You mean like one of those old Xbox power bricks that is as big or bigger than most PC PSUs? Not necessarily. I mean, you can get a GAN charger, I guess. A GAN power, gallium nitride one. Could shrink it. 3080 actually requires a 1000 watt PSU. It does. I mean, it's safer that way. 5070 chances of landing one for retail. All 50 series cards are probably going to be scalped. It's been 2 years. Scalpers have been waiting for this. So have gamers. That's why scalpers are foaming at the mouth for these to come out at retail. So, ergo, just like with the shortages that happened with the crypto boom and all that, the best way to get one is going to be through a pre-built. That's going to be the best way to get a 50 series graphics card. It was the same thing for a while until even SIs ran out for the 9800X3D. You couldn't find one at retail, but you could buy it in a pre-built. And as I've said, way back then when I first started covering pre-builts, because I realized nobody was doing that. At least not dedicated coverage of pre-builts. If you are a DIY builder and you really just gotta build your PC, buy pre-built, unbuild it, build it into a new case, whatever. You just built a PC. There you go. Or if you already have a PC and you just want the GPU, buy the pre-built, swap the GPUs between them so you have the newer 50 series one in your PC, and then sell that pre-built. It's mostly a brand new PC, but disclose that it has a used GPU in it, or you're a jerk if you don't. I will find you. I will not do that. That's very threatening to say, and I won't do that. But yeah. I have 30 series. I don't know if the 40 series was as hard to get. Good idea. 40 series was not as hard to get because it was not as desirable in many of the tiers that they released, at least right off the bat. And also, the market had been saturated from the boom of PC purchases and builds that were done during the 30 series and all that. Because, I mean, yeah, it was hard to get stuff, but a lot of people were buying it anyway, and a lot of people bought stuff. A lot of people bought stuff in that generation. It's unprecedented. But then market saturation was a bit high at that point. Is the 7900 XTX better than any of the 50 series cards? Probably going to be better than 5070 and 5070 Ti. I don't know that it's going to be... I don't think it's going to be better than 5080. Just guessing. Maybe it will be. I don't know. I'm suddenly just very thirsty, and that's not good. But I have water, so a little bit left anyway. I'll have to get another one soon. Is it concerning having PSUs like 1500 to 2000 watts? I mean, how much can you cram in that little space? That has improved dramatically, but once you start getting up to like 2000 watts, our outlets can't even power those. You got to run like a 220 outlet for that or something. Back then when it was possible to get was at Best Buy for a random purchase, and the dude in front of me returned a 3080 Ti Founders, bought that one on the spot. Nice. Very nice. It was so hard to get Founders Edition cards back then. Yeah, I went back and looked for that video showing the old GPU plug in the wall. Pretty sure I got trolled. Probably. I haven't heard of anything like that. I would happily stay with 7900 XTX. It's a great GPU. And the thing about it is, charts are comparisons, right? What is comparison? Comparison is the thief of joy. It serves as information for consumers who haven't bought anything yet, but if you've already made your purchase, don't look at a bunch of charts when new stuff comes out. Of course, newer stuff is going to be better. People who buy a 5090 now, in 2 years, when the 6090 comes out, nice, are going to be like, oh, dang it. I spent $2,000 on that. But yeah, that's time marches on. You cannot get wrapped up in having the latest and greatest stuff all the time. That is a great way to go broke for no good reason. Now, I have to cover this stuff. I do. It's my job. But in some ways, I regret that these videos go out to all my subscribers like that. Because a lot of y'all have bought PCs already. And I don't want any of y'all to ever get buyer's remorse if you're already enjoying what you got. Your enjoyment is the only benchmark that matters. Somebody clip that. Good Lord, that was a good one. This stuff just comes out, man. Sometimes just gold. That's how it goes. I am doing the job I was meant for, I gotta tell you. Cooler Master just released their aptly named Mighty Series 2000 watt PSU ATX V3.1 certified. Does it run on 120 volt? I mean, does it run on regular outlets? Here, Roosevelt was credited with saying comparisons the thief of joy, but Bray does it better. Thank you. Teddy Roosevelt would probably beat me up, though. How often do you recommend a motherboard upgrade? Only if you actually need one. Your motherboard should be all the motherboard you need from the very beginning. It is the backbone of your system. Now, if you have a system that has a lot of good parts and you're like, man, I'm having problems with my motherboard, then that's the upgrade to something better then at that point. Sure. Or you want to switch platforms to a different platform, CPU, motherboard, potentially RAM if you're on an older platform. You need to go DDR4 to DDR5. But a motherboard swap is drastic. It's a big change. I am going to have an episode of that on how to swap your motherboard. That's going to be part of the series, but it's going to come with a heavy just don't cheap out on your motherboard, please. Like everybody does. Do not do that because it is the hardest component to just swap out. You're basically unbuilding your whole PC to do that for the most part. Oh, hell no, this is EU only. Yeah, figures. But it's funny, they just came in like, hey, what's up? Want a 2000 watt PSU with a 15-year warranty? It's funny because someone was telling me that Cooler Master wanted to see me at CES. They wanted to talk to me at CES, but they didn't reach out to me via email, and I didn't know where their suite was, so I didn't get to visit them. Oops. Y'all have my email. I gave it to you at Computex. Hello. Because they do pre-builts. It's my domain. I was like this guy right here. Yeah, I'm just a dude in a room that just talks into a microphone and a camera. But I've been doing that about pre-builts for a long time. Great song, Tracy Lawrence, Time Marches On. It does march on. Buying a board without debug lights might be the recipe of you going insane if you have to diagnose your own problems. Listen, Org Chaos. You owe me a high five. Do you know why? MSI, Gigabyte, ASRock, Asus, every one of those companies, every time I talk to their motherboard people, 7-segment displays are cheap. More, please. Because you don't understand. Like, you want SIs to really want your boards? Make them easy to provide tech support for. They're inexpensive. They're in the bulk that a motherboard manufacturer buys things like those. They're very inexpensive to get 7-segment displays. But I've been yammering that at them forever. And I'm not taking credit for it though. I'm sure they just saw the writing on the wall. And when I was at MSI, almost every board, other than the cheapest boards, had 7-segment. and a good amount of gigabyte ones have them too now, not just the $900 boards or whatever. I believe Seasonic's longest warranty is 12 years. Well, they're actually beating Seasonic on that. Just need to see if their support is as good as Seasonic's. Because I don't think Cooler Master is the OEM of their own power supplies like Seasonic is. I don't know where they found their PSU team, but they're OEMing 15-year warranty, passive 1300 watt PSUs. They're OEMing. They are the OEM. They're building them themselves. That's okay. So this is like their AIOs. They got their own thing they're doing. Wow. Good job, Cooler Master. Heck to the yeah. That was a dorky thing to say, but yes. Specifically just top-end stuff. Okay. I can't help but laugh every time I go to a Gigabyte booth for a thing, Computex, CES, whatever, and I see that they're trying to show off a power supply, but it just has a little corner off somewhere. They get it. They understand. They're not wanted in that whole realm anymore. They just lost all power supply credibility. Ergy Bear, I would say to take that first sentence question right there and put that in Google. You're going to get a much more concise explanation than the one that I would ramble on and on about. And I feel like there's a lot of your questions that would probably fit really nicely into a Google search bar and get you much faster, more concise, and likely correct answers. I'm not the kind of guy who talks to sound smart. I usually like to go off on stuff when I feel like I can explain it the best. We went from Teddy Roosevelt to Ned Flanders with that thumbs up. Thumbs up for awesome. Are you kidding me? This is universal. This is universal right here. You go anywhere in the world, you do that, they're like, hey, yeah. Unless it's somewhere. Is this like flipping somebody off in some country I don't know about? Yeah, I do this in Romania. Am I gonna get punched in the mouth? What's going on? Yeah, Asus tends to cheap out the most. Funny how that happens, right? Hey guys, we want to be the top brand for everything. So let's put IO behind a paywall and like not give basic features. Oh, that's right, Asus. Stop it. So I have full digital BIOS display by now. It's 2025. I mean, you do. Well, I mean, you have something like that on really high-end motherboards. I would not expect that on a basic motherboard. And it's not just because, Adam, just because the parts cost a lot, screens have gotten incredibly cheap. It's really the back end of all that and supporting it. If the screen goes out, whatever, like there's costs to that kind of stuff. Okay, no one else has come in and said that they're here waiting for it. So RC Racing Fun, we're about to help you out. It's been an hour and 20 minutes. I should probably do what the title says. It's a little hard for me to focus whenever I've got like personal stuff going on, and that's definitely. I've just needed the chance to just chat with you guys and just sort of relax. Just sort of get out of my own head a little bit. So thank you for like letting me just yap. I think that means the world to me because I like doing it. But yeah, so we're looking at this right here. RC Racing Fun. 1,000 to 1,500, looking for pre-built in white. Now we have changed the form up a little bit. The form has changed for those of you who weren't here for Tuesday's stream. Okay, we've added in a couple things. Let's see, which ones did I add in? Okay, do you want RGB customizable lighting in your PC? Your answer was yes, but not too much. The options are yes and and a lot of it, or yes but not too much, or no, I don't. And then there's a question which is, do you want boutique build? And I explain what that is. Or do you prefer better price to performance? And you can choose that. So there you go. Now for the Wi-Fi question, RC Racing, asking if you need Wi-Fi in your system. You said, I don't know. So are you going to run an Ethernet cord from your router to your PC, like an internet cable directly into your PC, or can you not do that? I guess I can ask it that way instead. I think you should add I don't care / maybe to the RGB question because I genuinely don't care, but I'm not RC. Well, no, there's no. See, Bean Dealer, I'm forcing you to care because I'm not choosing for you. That's not my job. It makes you think about it and make that decision. It's just like in the color choice. So many people want to put I don't care, but I don't care more because it's not mine and I'm not choosing for you. So I make people stop and think about the thing they're going to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on. That is my prerogative for offering free help. Fair point. Performance greater than RGB, but I'd take green or orange. The cool thing about RGB is you can choose. Giving somebody a thumbs up in Greece, Iran, Russia, Sardinia, and parts of West Africa could get you in trouble. Thank you, Cogs. I appreciate that. All right, how about this? Hey, Vladimir Putin. Anyway. You did say Russia. Boy, oh boy. That could be taken in many different ways. It's apparently insulting to thumbs up someone in Russia. All right, that's what that. I'm not giving a thumbs up to that guy. Just giving you guys a heads up on that. I would love for somebody to be like, look at this just stupid bald guy says he likes Putin. And then you just link to the context, and then that person just looks like a complete jerk. It'd be great. I think, yeah, I already did that. Is the Tough Gaming V650 Wi-Fi motherboard AM5 OK board for 7800X3D? Well, it's B650 AM5 socket, so yes. But if it's compatible, then it's compatible. I don't know what, but the thing is, Bone Shock, unless I completely stop helping somebody, which admittedly I have done that to make jokes, unless I stop helping someone else to start helping you immediately, I don't have that board memorized. I don't just know. I don't know what the power delivery is like, so I don't know. But it works with it. It's compatible. Probably needs a BIOS update if you get it off the shelf and it's been on the shelf for a while. Hey, Berthorn, just arrived in the stream. VNE9, welcome. I want Matrix-themed real-time readings and codes. Then you have to learn the Matrix language. How about no more CDs, please, first? I've gotten plenty of motherboards at this point that have a USB drive, or nothing, I guess. All motherboards should have pre-attached faceplates now. It wouldn't be that much, add that much more to the cost. Well, you have to have the structural support for it around it. RC says, you helped me get my last one almost 2 years ago. Studies your vids for about 6 months before I made that purchase. You taught me so much watching your old vids. Thank you, RC. I feel like I've gotten better, though. Like, my videos, even though they're less consistent at this point because of reasons, I feel like I have some better ones, but some of my old ones are really good, honestly, looking back. I think the pinky is flipping off someone somewhere. Remember that as a kid. Interesting. I haven't watched much lately at all, but I was going to buy a PC for my buddy, and your live just happened to pop up. Nice. So I'm buying it for a friend. I assume he can run a cable, but I got no clue what his setup looks like. Most motherboards these days come with Wi-Fi, so the motherboard knows exactly why it's not booting, or just won't or can't tell you. True. And actually, as far as color and amount of RGB, I couldn't care less, but you had to choose, didn't you? So I don't have to choose. You might just have Wi-Fi anyway. If you can't, definitely say no. This guy is loaded. I'm a regular guy. We played on PS for years. I switched to PC. I'm trying to convince him to come over to PC Master Race. I just want a cheap system for him to get hooked. He'll buy a top-of-the-line one a year later. He can get exactly what he wants then. True. Speaking of Russia, will we fans of Deep Cool ever have it gloriously return to the USA? Probably not by that name. Don't quote me on that. I have no idea. Don't do that, good sir. Sorry to keep you from helping others. Thanks. No problem. No. You're not keeping me from helping others. It's just really to add context, like why I can't give you an answer that's a really solid answer, Bone Shock. You're good. PC has an okay. But I don't know my motherboard. All right, where are you going with this, Beanie? Super weak VRMs, power delivery with 8+2 phases. Ooh, that's not good. B650E Steel Legend from ASRock is better if it fits your aesthetic. There you go, Bone Shock. Thank you very much, Puggles. I appreciate that. Amount of info you put out there about SIs is top notch, quality over quantity, my friend. Thank you. That's not how the YouTube algorithm always works, but I wish it did. Okay, so now tell me if you would, RC, within this range, what's your actual budget between 1,000 and 1,500? Cogs, I know you had that thing for me. I saw that after I made the form. This is fine. If I have to ask a question, it's okay. This way I don't have to go in and apply scripts, because the thing is, every year I'm going to have to make a new form and I'll have to move every single script over, make sure they're still functioning, make sure they haven't changed any of that. But it shouldn't change, I guess, but still. I hope you're still watching. Thinking about $1,000 or a shade over. I'd go less if I thought it could cheaper, but that's your expertise. Was already typing it. Nice. Okay. A number would be better than a shade over, but that's okay. That's all right. If we're just trying to get them gaming on PC, and you said you wanted it in white, okay. I know you said that doesn't matter. Thank you for actually putting an answer regardless. I appreciate that very much. Let's see what these guys got for 1,000. That, or you can go with an Alexander PC's Hero. No, you can't. They're gone now. Oh, my bad. That's not where I wanted to go. I meant to go here. I'm not going to find out about what's going on with my code until Monday on iBuyPower. I don't know why they can't just fix it or make a new one. Like, I've got enough on my plate right now, honestly. I hate this. I hate that every single listing does sort by popularity. That in no way conforms to your buyers. It does not conform to their budgets. Nothing. It's just, hey, we're selling a lot of these. I don't care. It's not necessarily right for my budget or what I need. I don't have a $1,500 budget. But that does show you that a lot of people's budgets are around $1,500 bucks. $1,500 to $2,000. Price sort by price load of highs. Gonna take a little bit. Laptops, interesting. Move up to 1288 on that. This should really narrow it down. Yeah, narrow it down a little too much. Wow. Okay. Oh, I should explain this, by the way. There's a thing going on in the industry right now. Okay. A lot of SIs are short on parts. It is widespread and ridiculous right now. There's a lot of SIs that just can't get stuff. Yeah, they have one PC here that matches the price. Ryzen 5 7600 and a 4060 is a decent start, though. Because they're going to be, this system will be upgradable in the future if someone wanted to do that. I know you're just saying that they would be getting it just to dip their feet into PC gaming. 16 gigs DDR5, though. 650 watt power supply. No. All right. I'm going to have a talk with Jeff. He told me like a year and a half ago that they were phasing out all 500 gig M.2 drives. Here's one right here. It's 2025, y'all. 500 gigs. Are you freaking kidding me, SkyTech? Come on. It's exactly opposite of what I was specifically told about this. No. We'll go elsewhere. AJ, y'all got anything for $1,000? I know y'all are hurting right now too for parts. None in ready to ship. Frank, what's going on? Welcome. Install COD, install COD, NVMe full. Yeah, no 500 gig. I have the Cooler Master half XB Evo. I would like to get a newer case. Anyone know of a good option? There's a lot of good new cases out there. But John Paul, you know better. You would need to do something like, my budget is this, and I'm thinking about a white case, or just give more info if you're asking for help on stuff. 5600X. And it's 1529. Okay. Prefer 32 gigs of RAM. DDR5 is, of course, preferred, but not the one gaming on it. So if DDR4 is where we're at, I'm good with that. Well, at $1,000, it's not really going to be necessarily DDR5, but I mean, that one system did have it. It's just the storage sucks. Storage is one of the easiest things to upgrade in a PC. That's true. But yeah, 1200F, 1200F. Intel, AMD, but Intel card. That's a B580. Interesting. 1569 though, out of range. Okay. They're really just trying to make my job harder, aren't they? TJ, what you got? Wait. Oh, these aren't. Oh, the Hoplite. There we go. Hoplite and the Auxilia are great options from. This is the new Auxilia, and I really like it. 1148. 1178. What's the difference between these two? Ryzen 5 7600. 16 gigs DDR5. And if you want 32, brings up 1228. 1 terabyte Kingston NV3, 6650 XT. This one can go up to 32 gigs. Starts with a RX 7600. Uh, 7600 is going to beat a 6650 XT by a little bit in 1080p. (1440p) playable on the 7600. 6650 XT is under 60 FPS average in 1440p. So 7600, the 7600 XT. 7600 is still right there with it, still under 60. So neither of these is going to be great for 1440p, period. 4060 is above 60 FPS average. But, you know, if you're talking about them just getting into this, you're probably looking at 1080p. It's one thing to consider. If they're trying to if they're like, oh, I'll just put it on my 4K TV, it's going to be a bad time if it's not like a gaming-oriented variable refresh rate TV. That's a huge difference in power delivery, Puggles. Damn. Thanks to you, the PC I purchased was an Alexander. Nice. That's that lifetime warranty is just hard to beat. It's just hard to beat. (7600X), 32 gigs DDR5. Yeah, this is what I would go with, the Hoplite. right here. Lifetime warranty, shipping included, $1258 with the 32 gigs, because I chose that. You got to choose that right here. Oh, you said white. So if you want the white one, there it is. Either way. But here's the black one. Fan in my AIO went out. Yeah, you need to talk to them about that. Looking for a recommendation for an RGB controller software for my iBuyPower pre-built I got on Black Friday with your assistance. Not super happy with Armory Crate and Height Nexus so far. Try Signal RGB. Weird stuff going on with the formatting here. I don't know why it's doing that. Yeah, but there you go. No problem. Yeah, Signal RGB, no space. It's just Signal RGB, all one. Got to chat with them a little bit at CES. They're doing really exciting stuff. I'm super stoked about the fact that they replaced the crappy RGB software that MSI had in their software suite with Signal RGB. Super smart. And apparently that's happening. That might be happening across the board, which I'm very happy with. So go the Alexander. Nothing at iBuyPower or any of the other sites to consider. Not really. Well, you remember, okay, I'll go over it with you real quick. This one had half the storage it should, 16 gigs of RAM. No. Not really anything I would recommend at, this is all 12th gen Intel, which is okay, but you know, I mean, the fact this one has a 4060 versus the other ones is nice, but it's 16 gigs DDR5, 4060 Ti on this one for $1199, 16 gigs DDR5 again, 16 gigs DDR5 again. Meta, no, don't. That's. I mean, yeah, I guess for the price, that for some people that's going to be fine. But you specifically said for yourself that you want 32 gigs. So there you go. And then we went to Alexander PCs, and I also went and looked at Stints Built. They didn't really have anything in the price range that I was looking for because this is 5600X, so it's old platform. Whereas it's cheaper than ever now to put AM5 in there instead. And I think this just needs to be updated, honestly, personally. AJ, I hope y'all aren't stuck with too much AM4 stuff. It's still fine, I guess. It's just it's a couple years out of date at this point. Alexander PCs has the reputation they do in our community for a reason. And the problem is a lot of other SIs would have that same thing. It's just that oftentimes Alexander, like TJ and I, we don't agree on everything. But when it comes to not skimping out on things that are real life needs, like certain amounts of RAM and storage, we agree on that. And that I think is very critical. I have learned quite a bit about like how much I don't know about purchasing and creating SKUs by having to create 2 SKUs at SkyTech. When I did those things, they kind of they were very transparent with me about that, and I learned quite a bit about it. But there's still a lot I don't know, you know. Made it all easy for me, man. Thanks. I should have said I don't care about the latest and greatest, but you, sir, I care about. Thank you very much. It is still going to be socket AM5. That little system is not a throwaway system. That thing's going to have a lifetime warranty and be upgradable forever. So the only thing is, if say he were to be like, you know what, all right, I'm gonna spend a couple grand, put a 5090 in here. Better spend a few hundred extra, put a bigger power supply too. I wonder if they said that because they're on the list. No? But okay, we'll call that one done. Bean Dealer, it's going to be your turn. I just realized I turned up the music a bit and I forgot to turn it down. Sorry. All right, good. RC Racing Fun, I hope that helped out. And, you know, whenever your buddy is like, all right, I want to get the craziest PC ever, you know where to send them. Send them over here. We'll figure something out that's insane. That's really cool. And because, you know, I know you, I don't know if you jokingly said it or whatever, or you bug them over to where, but you say your friend's loaded. That doesn't mean you can't still make smart decisions in purchasing. And I think that's how people stay loaded, actually. To not just throw money into the wind like that, but I can help, you know how it goes. When I got my APC, I had to upgrade the power supply because of how much you talked about it. Thanks again, Bray, you're a legend. Thank you, RC Racing Fun. I do appreciate the kind words. Someone said crazy PCs. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. They said it might be in about a year or so. We got like about 70, 75 viewers right now across both platforms. Thank you guys for hanging out. I very much appreciate it. I like to update y'all on that just in case you're like seeing 37 on Twitch and you're like 37. No, we also got about the same amount over in YouTube land as well. So I appreciate y'all very much for hanging out for this. We're going to take a look now. Help out Bean Dealer on this one. So similar budget. This might end up being, okay. So this changes things. All right, Bean Dealer, listen up. What we just did was we put together, we looked at a system for RC Racing Fun's friend that is just going to be a gaming system. And you saw some of the selection out there at around this price point. Now they're talking about just gaming. You're talking about gaming, streaming, content creation / video editing. That can be tough to achieve in a significant way on a tighter budget, but there's some options out there and we'll see what we can do. Closer to 1500. Okay, so no, everyone's saying like I can go shade over 1,000 or closer to 50. Give me a number. I'm just gonna say 1500 for you, okay? Like I don't want to have to guess. That's why there's a, because this is the second time running into this out of 2. I have put in bold and italicized all capital letters and underlined the word maximum. I cannot format that word any further to get y'all's attention to just give me a solid number, because the confusing thing about the new form is that after that, I put a range here. So you're like, he's just looking for a general amount. This is for this right here. This is for this, for the chart. That's why it's arranged like that. That's why. I know it's confusing, but I was trying to make it less confusing after how that went like last year with this form. 1537. No. Because then you should have been here. 1500 to 2000. No goofs and gaffs over here. Not with my data. Not with my beautiful data. No. You go over 1500, you're in this land right here, my friend. All right, bet. All right, you got it, Skeeter. Thanks for hanging out. Kenneth, what's up? How's it going? It was a mild roast, and honestly, the roast should have been for both RC Racing Fun and Bean Dealer, but Bean Dealer got the brunt of it. Sorry about that. So let's take a look here. Let's take a quick look at what we went with for RC Racing Fun, and it was this. It was the Hoplite. Let's take a look at what could potentially be the issue here. This is a B650M-A Wi-Fi motherboard. Now, this is an MATX case, so putting an MATX motherboard in there is fine. What's the problem with that for a streaming PC? Okay, the problem with that is that this has decent I/O, actually, for a gaming PC. Is this decent for a streaming PC? It's not the worst, but it's not great. And because this is MATX, you have very few options for, why is this so zoomed in? I can't see the bottom. Oh, that is the bottom. Yeah, you have very few options for adding in something like a USB add-in card. Like your GPU is probably going to be mostly blocking this, or your add-in USB card is going to be blocking one of the fans on your GPU a little bit. So usually full ATX with good I/O, even a little more than this. Because look, you don't have a USB Type-C on the back here. You do have it for the front panel, but not for the back. Think about this: mouse, keyboard, headset, maybe USB microphone or audio interface, webcam, maybe another webcam, I don't know. Like you're starting to run out. Oh, Stream Deck. Oh man, I wanted to get one of those Stream Deck pedals. That's my last USB. Oh no, I can't really add any more USB. Oh gosh, I wanted to get another angled webcam. Oh geez. Or I need I ran out of fast ones here. I need another fast one for an external capture card that has a really high bit rate. Yeah. You run out really quickly when you start having a little too much fun with streaming. The other thing is on MATX, you have reduced options for putting in storage. This has only 2 sockets for M.2. And doing content creation / video editing, you're going to run out of space pretty quickly. So I have 8 things roughly plugged into my USB right now. So that's what that means. More expensive motherboard, usually. There are some good options for that. But what I would say, you might do a bit better if instead of going pre-built, if you built it yourself. But you're getting it pre-built because you don't want to build it yourself. But building it yourself, you're not paying someone to build it for you, test it for you, ship it to you, warranty it for you. Goods and services. You build it yourself, you're just buying goods. So you can get more performance for your dollar if you build it yourself, because you have some, like, you can get just a video editing workstation that's twice the price of this. And it's going to be awesome at it. But like, if you don't have enough RAM, you're going to have a bad time. Nothing interrupts a creative flow more than running out of RAM while you're trying to run Premiere Pro, because it's RAM hungry. So it's like, that's the thing. What I would say, as long as we have a solid enough foundation where there's upgradability, understand that it will be good at one of those things and improvable for the other ones. Is that a way of saying that? It's a way of saying that now. You go in knowing like, all right, this thing's going to be good for gaming, okay for streaming, and if I want to do some serious video editing, I got to upgrade my RAM, or I got to get more storage or something, anything like that. We can look at it that way. I built my current one, but I don't have the spoons for it right now. I'm running 2700 with a 2060, and it's struggling lately. Well, there is an upgrade path there where you could get something like 5950X CPU. Would be massive upgrade on CPU for you for both gaming and content creation, and upgrade your GPU as long as your power supply can support it. And you could upgrade both of those things for way less than this. And you can keep the same motherboard, because that's socket AM4. Cogs, that's one thing I always hesitate to bring up, because I never want to be the one to just be like, okay, so the answer here is to get more money. Because it's not just easy to do for most people. Myself, I couldn't just do that. Like, more money, here's more for my PC budget. I guess I don't need rent next month. It's usually, we find another way around it. CX650. Okay, so you can't necessarily make a massive upgrade on GPU with that. But like, think about it. Let's think about this for a second. You upgrade your power supply, right, to something like, I don't know, 1,000 watts for like $180. There you go. And then, say you upgrade your GPU when it launches to the 16 gigs VRAM 5070 Ti for, what is it, 750? Is it 750? $750. Now, I just got through telling y'all, oh, 50 series is going to be scalped like crazy. So getting that might not be super possible. Like, not easy. It won't be easy, is what I mean to say. Oh, here, let me do this. Let's do this just as a thought experiment here. Because at the moment, I don't have anyone else waiting for help. $345 for the 16-core 32-thread 5950X. Who's got that right now? A lot of places have that right. Well, two places. B&H. B&H, I've said this plenty of times. I will say it again. Low-key, an awesome place to get PC parts. B&H has come through for me a few times. No kidding. So let's add that to the parts list. Okay. And then we'll look at a power supply. All right, let's go here. Let's say, what if we put 3.1 in the search terms? Just Antec puts it in the name of the product? Come on, guys. Get good. What if we put 3.0? No, a lot more of those. And let's change our wattage to 1,000 watts. Just so you have future upgradability out the wazoo there, okay? I wouldn't put a 5090 on a 1000 watt, but like a 5080 easily. Seasonic Focus GX ATX 3.0 V4 2024 version. Seasonic, one of the best power supplies money can buy. $203 right there. 1000 watts, ATX 3.0, so 12 VH PWR included as a native connector. You have to know a guy who knows a guy to get a 50 series GPU, or be near a micro center, I guess. Warrior Sailor, have a good night. Thank you for coming in. B650 doesn't have enough lanes for dedicated streaming gear, but basic OBS screen capture and webcam streaming should be good enough to get started. B650? Are you talking about that previous person there? Okay. That was a different person. That was talking about the B650. Here we're talking about probably like a B450 or an X470. Something like that. What is Micro Center? It's a store. B450, called it. The downside there is if you get something like that one has, I don't think it had, I think it's PCIe 3.0. So you're losing some of the performance of that GPU for sure. Could swap out your motherboard and CPU to get it more current if you wanted to. But like at this point, you're basically building almost a whole new computer. But you're keeping your storage. And if you go to like AM5, you got to get DDR5. This is starting to look less good. I don't know, man. Damn, I may have to start looking to upgrade the PC I just bought. Why would you have to do that, Outlaw Torn? No reason to do that unless you feel like you need to. I mean, in that case, if you already need to upgrade it, then we didn't buy it properly. You know what I mean? If I swap my mobile, I'm looking at upgrading the Windows because I'm on an OEM disk. What version of Windows are you on? Magnus FTS. I got a buddy giving me a Titan RTX that I'm replacing my 6800 with. Say again? Hold on a second. It's not listed here. Titan RTX isn't even on the list here. Or RTX Titan. There it is. Okay, I just want to bring it to your attention to this, at least for 4K gaming. Your 6800 is better than the Titan RTX in rasterized gaming, in just rasterized graphics. Why would you do that? Like this is a more current and powerful GPU. Now this has 24 gigs of VRAM. I'll give you that. But unless you have a very specific use case for that 24 gigs of VRAM, 3D design, something like that, stick with your 6800. And be sure, before you make any deals like that, that you look for a basic comparison chart like this. This is for 4K Ultra Gaming, by the way. It just wasn't listed in any other category, just 4K gaming. Because like, why would you buy a Titan RTX for 1080p? It's just not even there. But yeah, if you look at like 1080p gaming, 6800 is way up here compared to 20 series cards. I'm using Titan for Blender in my main PC and moving the 6800 to my living room. Okay. Well, yeah. No, I get it. It's free. Just, that was a power hungry card. Just, sure, upgrade your power supply. I don't remember what was recommended for the Titan RTX though. You have a link to review the existing specs of a PC to see where we can upgrade how it stands in today's world? Right here. Here you go, at least for the GPUs. Just this. Well, here, this is a build help page. But this only really shows you GPU comparison chart. There's other stuff here like PSU Cultist tier lists, SSD listings, things like that, eBay average price finders, but I use the GPU comparison chart all the time. There you go, Frank. Okay. Oh, you're using Windows 10. Yeah, you're going to have to upgrade that to Windows 11 no matter what. I've got too many people pulling me away from the help I'm giving right now. And I'm sure, guys, whenever your turn comes up, you wouldn't want me to stop helping you to start helping a bunch of other people who just randomly ask questions and demand my attention immediately in chat. And I'm not saying you guys are doing that. You're just asking questions. But understand that I'm the type of person that will easily get distracted by that. So I do like the Enermax Revolution. Let's say we go with, oh, it doesn't have a price. All right, let's say we go with the Seasonic. $203. That's pretty expensive. Well, that's only $20 more than I was estimating. I estimated $180. And it's a really, really good one, a modern one that just came out recently. So there you go. It doesn't have ATX 3.1 though, but just make sure you plug in your 12V PWR all the way. These two things together, the CPU and the power supply, are $548. You still have $950 to buy a GPU. That's nearly 5080 money, but I wouldn't do 5080 on a motherboard that can't support that PCI Express standard. So let's just see what video cards are out there right now that you could upgrade to. Let's look from $700 to $800 or $950. Oh, there are just not that many GPUs out there, are there? Yep. There is a 4070. Don't buy a 4070 for $700. Are you crazy? Good Lord. 4070. Can I just point this out? 4070 for $700. Out of stock here, out of stock here. So what happens on Amazon? What Amazon allows to happen, instead of it being $419, it is $700. The 5070 is coming out for literally $550. Do not buy this. Oh my God. The market sucks right now. A 4070 Super for $718. Let's take a look here. It's supposed to, it isn't even supposed to be this. Well, okay, it's Asus, I guess. It's supposed to be $599. It's all Amazon third-party sellers that are selling these. And that's not a huge price hike. It's $120 over MSRP, or about $100 over MSRP, but like, still, don't buy that. Oh boy, this is looking bleak, everybody. a GTX 680 for $738. There has to be something I'm missing here. A GTX 680? Oh, I wonder who's selling it for that. Amazon.com? It's not being sold by Amazon or shipped by Amazon. It's by a third-party seller. I guarantee it. Holy jeez, dude. We're getting back to shortage times. 4070 Ti, a little bit better, I guess. Now, the Pro Art is a more expensive card by default, but not that much more. It's usually going to be $690, and it is $770 on here. Man. Dark times, everybody. 7800 XT for $800. No, that's a cheaper card than that. That's like $300 above MSRP. 250, $300 over MSRP. God. A 4070 Super for $815. What is... God, this is so bad. Okay. 4070 Ti Super, 16 gigs, $850. All right, that is MSRP. And it's in stock at Walmart. But you know what? Good guy Walmart having it for MSRP, because you could also get it on Amazon for $1,250. No. I get it. I get where you're coming from. So here's what I'm going to tell you, Bean Dealer. Sometime in February, they're going to be launching the 5070 and 5070 Ti. You should see, like maybe from Skytech or a similar SI, a 5070 system for about $1,500. I'd probably just wait on that. As long as it has a full ATX motherboard, you can add in, I will show you, something like this. Check this out. Not going to run out of USB anymore. And this is direct through a PCIe lane too, with no additional power needed. It gets it all from the PCIe bus and it has its own controllers and power delivery on there. So yeah, this is like $25 on Amazon right here. Something I would actually buy on Amazon. And that, for a streaming system, is awesome. You just don't want to be in I've been in that position, and I get motherboards that have tons of IO, but I have to make a really elaborate streaming setup. This is where my trauma comes from, okay? My trust issues with this kind of thing, my issues with IO on motherboards, is because I have to have a streaming setup that is essentially two setups at once. I don't want to unplug everything and replug everything back in, so I can have this setup plus my unboxing and review setup. It's all plugged in. So yeah, I'm a special use case. Not many people need as many USB as I do, but I will make sure you never have to worry about that. My own like neuroses or whatever you want to call it will help you in case you ever, like, you get into streaming. Who knows what you're going to stream? You might do stuff where you're moving around, or you're doing VR, or you're doing sim racing, or you're doing whatever. Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And if you don't have it, you grab yourself one of these and you add on more USB and you're good to go. Or you put an internal capture card in that PCIe slot, whatever. For a streaming system, I will not recommend, unless it's a travel system or something, like you're setting up somewhere and whatever, then you just need to get a really good ITX board. I will not recommend anything but a full ATX motherboard for that expandability. I just don't. That's why I also don't recommend Height's Y series of cases for streamers, because you need that full-size PCIe in order to get a solid IO card or some of the bigger capture cards that are internal. You just need that. Anyway, I'm going to say this, and I didn't want to. I put a lot of effort into trying to help you out. Now, I'd wait till the 57. Just looking at how bleak it is in the market right now for GPUs, that's not just at retail. Like, that is also affecting SIs. I would hold off until that in your case. You saw the difference between your setup, what you need, and the previous one that I just did. They just want a basic gaming PC for their buddy. You're trying to make something out of this. Like, this is going to be serious for you. And when that's the case, waiting a couple of weeks for something that you're going to be using for years to come, and either it's going to be a satisfying solution to what you needed or a frustration, constant frustration if you don't get the right thing, I would wait a couple of weeks. No harm in that. Getting a whole pre-built is a better deal right now than GPU shopping. Adam, the thing is, nobody has anything right now. I almost want to throw in the towel on these PC matchmaking sessions because, like, I've been told by SIs, like, dude, we got nothing. We can't get anything right now. Half of our systems are out of stock. The other half we do have, people don't want because they're waiting. And it's not because people are buying everything up. It's because Nvidia pulled everything off the freaking market. They pulled everything out so that people would need their new GPUs, and it would create artificially inflated initial sales numbers to appease, again, their stockholders. Silent Furies, you walked into a rant there, so what do you think? Patience is not my strong suit, but that's why I came here, because I was at my limit to figure out what to do. Sometimes, Bean Dealer, the only thing that you can reasonably do is wait. And think about future you. Will future you be cussing past you out for not waiting? Or will you be saying, thank you past me. Thank you past me for being patient and holding off. Because you have a PC right now. It's not great, but you've got one. Not a lot of people can say. There's a lot of people who cannot say that are waiting. So you got something. Just hold out a little bit longer. It's going to be worth it for you. And this is not even just a biased thing on my part. There's just hardly anything out there. Create a drought and the supply at inflated rates. I hope they create inflated supply. That'd be great. I'd love that. It is going for the 7800 XT is going for 550 or equivalent here in India. Well, not here. The only people who aren't sold out are third-party sellers, and they are aware of that, unfortunately. Oh, Chad Bell says, Braithorn, I'm on the list. Let's see. You are indeed on the list. So here's what I'm going to do. If you're okay with this, Bean Dealer. All right. I'm going to go ahead and unmark yours here to reset it here so that when that time comes and the 5070 has been launched, you can come in and say, hey, I'm on the list. And I'll go back and you'll be like before most of the people who are on the list. You'll come first, basically, unless it's one of these people who are either weren't here when their turn came up or they said they were going to wait. Let me put this here. I will say this. According to some of the reviews I've seen, they have now launched with the 50 series their 9th generation NVENC NV encoder, which should have benefits for streaming. 40 series had AV1 and all that too, but I mean also efficiency in encoding, things like that have improved, and that's going to be beneficial to you. So that's probably going to be worth it for you. And being at around $1,500, you are within range of 5070. So that's potentially something you could do. Thank you for the help, though. It has solved my current issue. I hate waiting, too. I am not patient. I don't even like waiting for this camera to follow me around. It's like, hurry up, camera. We got stuff to do. What are you waiting around for? Hey, before I run, do you have a discount code for Meta PC? I do. It's just my name, Braythorn. But you got it. Thank you, RC Racing Fun. Did you find something from there that you preferred? It's fine if you do. Joseph Scanlon, what's up? I snagged a SkyTech with 964 Ti Super for under 1900 total. Ordered Thanksgiving. Delivered this past Monday. Wow, that took them a while, huh? But that's the thing about Black Friday, Cyber Monday times. That's how it goes. Joseph, I hope you got to use code SWARM, though, to get yourself a nice fat discount on that. I love Torn. Have to go. Thanks again for the stream and info. It is interesting even for people not in the market. I like to think so. It's pretty fun. Boom. Thanks, sir. You got it, RC. Thank you. Have a good night, y'all. You're awesome, Braythorn. Thank you. Have a good night, Bone Shock. But all right. Okay, I'm probably gonna go grab another bottle of water here in a second because I'm about to finish mine. I don't know. I guess I spend a lot of my day not talking, so then I start talking a lot, and I'm like, okay, I need to drink more water. So I usually have a giant bottle for water, but I just haven't been setting that up lately. Probably not. I think I'll go with the 32 gigs at APC, but if I change my mind in the morning, I wanted to ask before I ran. Thanks again. No problem. Oh yeah, the multi-NVENC sounds like a blast for my next upgrade, just for my Sunshine setup. Sunshine setup. Sounds interesting. You have multiple setups over there? Hope I didn't miss the context on that. All right, guys, I'll be right back. Can you not? There we go. Be right back, guys. There we go. What did I miss? So you have a list of active discount codes anywhere? Yes, on the Discord. It's called the Coupon Codes channel. You're yawning, get up and walk around for a moment, get the blood moving. That's what I just did to go get some more water. Heart Racer 86. Hey, Braythorn, I think I had a couple of requests put in to this around Christmas. I actually watched a lot of your videos and was able to make my own list. Oh, nice. Very cool, Heart Racer. I built mine without any issues and it's been awesome. Very cool. Congrats. Sunshine Parsec gaming server for local cloud gaming streaming. It's a shared server built for friends. Very cool. You know, I wish I had been part of this niche of YouTube, but I just can't. I don't have the time to put into it. And I've got my niche, but home lab stuff sounds really fun. I mean, hosting things from home is really cool too already, but I've done some of that. And of course, I got my days from when I used to be an IT administrator and setting up servers and just all kinds of stuff. But it's just not something that I got into on the home lab side. I don't think I've ever even messed with like a Raspberry Pi or anything like that. It just looked like so much fun. No problem, Heart Racer. Congratulations on that. Show it off in our rigs channel in the Discord. Show your PC off. I'm sure the people there would love to see it. I've said this a million times. At some point, I am going to go through the rigs channel and not roast anybody, but really just comment on some of the systems there. Just take a look at it. All right. Chad Bell. CLX, Skytech, Starforge. I'm going to tell you right now, don't buy anything till the 30th, for sure. At $3,500 to $4,000, you're looking 5080, maybe 5090 if you need it. Like, let's look what you're doing. Gaming and streaming. You don't really need 32 gigs of VRAM for streaming or gaming. So save yourself $1,000 and go with a 5080, but that doesn't launch until the 30th. Actually, I'm curious. Let me look at something here. They do this sometimes. Yo, how did I miss that? And what's going on with this website, by the way? There we go. Heart Racer 86, thank you for tier 1 sub for 3 months in advance. Let's go, nerds. Welcome to the Swarm. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. I hope you're not, I don't know. That was going to be a weird thing to say. Hope you're not offended by a thumbs up, depending on where you are in the world. What I was going to do was this. Go here, gaming PCs, I don't know, AMD, sure. And no, I don't, God, I'm supposed to be the first to know anyway. Who did a WoW? Gary, what's going on with the anime WoW from Tangia? How's it going, Gary? Glad to see you. Gary, for those who don't know, Gary is the one person who actually uses my Tangia stuff that I took a long time to set up. Thank you for that, Gary. You are always going to be appreciated for that. Sure, let's customize this guy right here. That's a nice one. But I want to see their graphics card selection and see if they have a pre-order for 50 series. Oh my God. It's this. Look, listen, guys. iBuyPower is the largest system integrator in North America. All right. Even they can't get a 4080 Super, 4090. They just can't get them. Maxed out here, 4070 Ti Super. That's it. But the fact that they have that is kind of amazing. 70 class cards are also like a lot of those are also pulled from distribution, but it's just they stock up so much there because of necessity that they still got some. But yeah, no pre-orders open for 5000 series. Surprisingly enough. How quickly after the launch do you think places will get it? It's going to depend. Sometimes these SIs will partner up with Nvidia for some of these launches and have them ready at launch. I can't imagine iBuyPower wouldn't have some at the beginning. What's probably going to happen is here's the thing, guys. Even with the separate allocation the SIs get for GPUs, They're probably still going to sell out pretty quickly, but then what's going to happen is maybe a 1 or 2 week lead time. That's how these things go. If you're new to PCs, you're not used to that. That's how it was with 30 series. That's how it was with some 40 series stuff, but definitely with 30 series. And actually, part of me starting to cover pre-builts was me going and looking through configurators and using that to figure out who had what GPUs in stock. That's literally the first SI Weekly was GPU roundup. Seeing who had what GPUs, using their configurators. It was crazy. But I was like, what if I do this every week? And Cuddles, he used to be the editor for a long, was the editor for a long time, was like, I could edit that every Sunday. I was like, okay, let's do this. You probably already mentioned it, but what's your opinion on the AMD GPUs? Do you want to be more specific? Do you mean like the 9070 XTs? The only opinion I can have on those is that it's the dumbest naming change AMD has ever made. And boy, oh boy, I can't even tell you how low that bar is. The dumbest. Because we all know what they're doing. We knew it before they said it, because they eventually said it. They were like, we want to be more easily compared to our competition. Isn't that why you stopped doing high-end GPUs? Like, so we have leaks, we have hints, we don't have much. Can't really give my opinions on performance that I don't know. But I'll tell you, the naming is dumb. What our Radeon will fare this generation? All I know is there's one thing I do know. God, I look like sickly in this lighting on this camera, unless it's just the way it looks on this little screen that I've got here. The brightness might be a bit too low. Does my camera look okay in this mode, at least versus like this camera here, which is actually a different camera. Anyway, one thing that I do know for a fact that sort of gives away AMD's level of dedication to the GPU space. They let go of a large amount of their people on the GPU team, on the Radeon team. They laid off a bunch of people from Radeon. Kind of tells you all you need to know, doesn't it? All I'm saying is we all better start rooting for Intel GPUs to get a bigger market share. Because the whole naming change and the whole thing about not announcing the 9070 and 9070 XT in their keynote, where people who needed to know were there. Like, I mean, they had their media outlets that they had sent the info to. I wasn't one of them, so I was like, what the hell? When some people started reporting on it. But like the fact that they were too wrapped up in wanting to see what Big Green did. Guys, AMD, y'all used to not be like this. Okay, never mind. You've always been like this, but like in a brave way, instead of like a lame kind of way. Like y'all have a lot of power in the CPU space. You need some of that confidence to leak over to the Radeon team. But unfortunately, you fired a bunch of them. Oops. We need you. We need Radeon. Like, I understand. I get it. Consumers don't get it sometimes. They don't, they'll be like, oh man, there's Radeon cards. Oh, that looks really good. Buys Nvidia anyway. Because 7000 series was solid, not in ray tracing. I don't care. That is one feature. In like everything else, they were like doing really well for their price, insanely well for their price. But people are so like, there's still people who insist on like Intel 13th and 14th gen because they're so wrapped up in Intel stuff. And they heard the Core Ultra 200S is not the best gaming CPU. Yeah, it's never going to be the best anymore at Intel until they get something like 3D V cache. Until they figure out that cache is king. They're going to suck for gaming, not at least relative to X3D chips. It's not even, it's going to suck for gaming. Don't that, you know what? Strike that from the record. It doesn't have to be the top of the charts for you to have fun. Remember, your enjoyment is the only benchmark. That is definitely, that's a new catchphrase. I'm using that all the time. Okay. You can quote me on that. Anyway, someone's probably already said that. And I just stumbled into the same idea, but whatever. People didn't buy 7000 series Radeon that much. Didn't matter how good it was. So AMD, I get it. But I don't like it. I bought the RX 7900 XTX and it has been great for iRacing and streaming. That's what I'm saying, Heart Racer. It's awesome for that. As I know, though, there were a lot of people who went from EVGA to Nvidia, though. Well, yeah, because they had been working with Nvidia. EVGA didn't make AMD cards, so they had connections with Nvidia, not AMD. Hi, in process of putting my list together for new gaming streaming rig. Always been an Intel fanboy, but with new CPUs coming out, what would you recommend? Intel or AMD? Thanks in advance. Uruk-hai? No, that's not how that works. Here. There you go. Welcome to the stream. You got to fill out that form because I'm currently helping somebody right now. Even though you hear me ranting, I am helping somebody right now. If they're still here, because they did say they're on the list, and they have... Chad, are you even still here? You haven't said anything ever since you said you're on the list. I have been talking to you for some of that, anyway. Okay, it says you're still in chat. Guys, when your turn comes up, understand you can respond. In fact, I need you to. It's a discourse back and forth. It's a conversation that we're having. Sounds like I need to wait a couple weeks. I mean, at least till the 30th. Wait till the 30th. What days does that fall on anyway? Yeah, that's a week from now. Next Thursday, come back. We'll set you up with a system. What's up, Sergeant Marine? How you doing? Rants are part of helping, I'm finding out. Rants are... They're not always healthy. I can admit that. Like me saying that Core Ultra 200S sucks for gaming is super wrong. They're not the best for gaming. Who cares? You can still game on them just fine. And if you're gaming in 1440p or 4K, your CPU doesn't even matter as much. But like, it's just that mindset. There's people who are like, I'm always going to buy Intel. And then like, they don't look up the fact that there's issues with these CPUs cooking themselves, essentially, through microcode, through bad microcode. Like, and then they're like, what? Huh? BIOS update? What? And it's like all the information is out there for you guys. Like you gotta, if you're investing in something, make sure you look it up, read a little bit about it, watch some reviews, watch some videos. A lot of them are entertaining. Some of them are not. I can enjoy a Gamers Nexus video. Well, not all of them, unfortunately, but I can usually enjoy a Gamers Nexus video. If you're new to PCs, you're not going to enjoy it probably because it's a lot of data. But it does help because it shows the frustrating parts of the industry hobby. Yeah. I mean, also, you know, I'm not like it. I think it shows how invested I am in this stuff, that I actually care about it. I also care about the people that make this industry work. And I always am infuriated when I hear about mass layoffs. Intel and AMD both did it. AMD on a much smaller scale. Intel fired 15,000 people, including their CEO, which is fine. I mean, it's not really. He was working on stuff that we hadn't seen yet. 13th to 14th gen was not his stuff. That had been, it takes 2 years or so to get from planning to design, development, testing, manufacturing, and then get it on the shelf for you to buy. So that was well before his time. The 13th and 14th gen came out. Core 200S was more his thing, and it was like, hey, we'd all been asking for this. Here's a funny thing about your Core Ultra 200S CPUs from Intel that were, I'm probably still one of the only people on YouTube that has a positive video about those CPUs. It's insane because we all asked for that. They gave us exactly what we asked for. Reviewers were constantly like, it runs too hot. It runs too hot and you're pushing too much power into it. You're going to have these super high frequencies and it's like, it's too much heat. It's too much power. And then Intel's like, okay, we get it. And instead we're going to focus on having our core count, having efficiency and lower temps. They're going to run better and more efficient. We're raising the frequencies on our on our E-cores. Efficiency cores, not eco. On our efficiency cores, guys, the performance in productivity tasks and all of the other things that hey, these things aren't the best thing for gaming anymore. What's wrong with you, Intel? I thought we told you to ban Tannehill. And Intel's like, well, what the heck happened? What are you doing? You yelled at me for temps and power. And now you want more temps and power, so it's fast. Well, how can you? How do you function? How do you function in your everyday life like this? And I honestly have no answer for them. I don't know. Silent Fury says, does CyberPower make good desktops? No, and their support sucks too. Would you pre-order the 5070? I don't really need to. I mean, I wouldn't. I can't. I don't usually buy parts anymore. Can't really justify it because I'll get stuff sent to me. I guess it's a very entitled thing to say, saying it like that. But honestly, I just can't afford it. Being a content creator is feast or famine at times, and 2024 was a lot of famine actually. I don't think Steve totally dropped the issue even with Core Ultra. I enjoy Steve, but I also seen Steve rant videos, the Intel microcode being one of them. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, they screwed up on that. They really screwed. And also, Baz the Trash W comment for letting Silent Furies know that CyberPower does not make good desktops. They don't. And their support sucks. You're better off with iBuyPower. They have world-class support. They've shown that time and time again, including directly through actual people, community members who have bought from them, reporting back in the Discord, have told us how their experiences are. They're just way better than CyberPower PC, like in every conceivable way. And CyberPower is all about just ignoring that and being like, look how awesome we are. It's like, no, you're not awesome. You can say it all you want. That doesn't make it true, CyberPower. You can tell people how influential you are and how you can make or break parts, like whether they're successful or not with your little website. But if you don't support your PCs, you suck. If you don't support your customers, you shouldn't have them. And if what I'm saying doesn't make sense to you, what have you been doing all these years you've been in the industry? By the way, you can set fans to intake. Just a little heads up to you right there. I hate that. I hate that so much. Oh, but we want to show the pretty side. We don't really care about thermals or performance. No sound. No sound. Is it just me? Northern Lights, I think it would be just you. I think a lot of people would be saying that. Ghostboner, my computer is CyberPower, and I don't think that the people are nicest about customer support. Their customer support is terrible. I've been reported that directly to me by actual customers so many times. And if you watch the Secret Chopper series on LTT, CyberPower never does well, man. They're like on their customer service. It does not do well. Ghostboner, I'm glad that you haven't had any issues. That's good. If you never have an issue, what happens is I get people who are like, what are you talking about? CyberPower's fine. I've never had an issue. That's literally the only person who ever tells me that CyberPower is fine because they've never had an issue. You have to understand, this wasn't always the case with CyberPower. They used to have decent customer support. I used to recommend them, and then they stopped caring. and I stopped recommending them. And it sucks. And I'm talking about way early when I was doing SI Weekly. Like way early. I think what happened might have been that like they lost some of their employees that were tenured or whatever, that understood what they were doing during the pandemic. And then they just hired whoever after that to do customer service. Or maybe they just have one person answering emails and phone calls. I don't know what's going on over there, but it's not good. And also, they won't talk to me. Like literally, iBuyPower saw what I was trying to do and reached out to me when I had 5,000 subscribers. They did not care that I wasn't a huge. They were like, "You're focused on SIs. Hey, we're one of those. What do you need from us to just help you do what you do? Not money or we want you to be unbiased, but like, do you want a review system? Do you want to know how things work over here? Like what we're doing? Any info you need, we got you." CyberPower is like, just a YouTuber. Yeah, you're sure you're a YouTuber. I don't see 7 digits in your subscriber count. I think they need to learn about focused audiences. It was my phone hooked to my PC for some reason. That's weird. Yep, I bought one during COVID, and 2 years later, the PSU ruined the whole PC. Baz, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. I know I keep running my mouth, but you also introduced me to Micro Center. Dear Lord, is that place amazing? It is awesome. Yes, I'm glad to have been the person to introduce you to that. Don't worry about running your mouth. You're good. It's all positive. Posture check. What's up, Shy on PC? How's it going? Welcome to the stream. I personally know people laid off by Intel, and yes, it sucks. Their wife was pregnant at the time, too. That's awful. Did they get decent severance packages at least? Any assistance, replacement elsewhere in the industry? God. Used to be you. Combine the two words i7 with Nvidia, and that would equal guaranteed sale on the used market. Oh, it used to be you. Combine the two words i7 with Nvidia. And yeah. Yeah, that is changing. GN drama got me rethinking. My trust in Steve's health and lack of sleep impairing this judgment. I've seriously been a fan of Gamers Nexus since around, like, when I would just go read the website now and then. I got into the video stuff a little later, but I would read their stuff all the time back when that was their primary focus. And anyways, I don't know. I've been reading Steve's stuff for a really, really long time. And Steve did and didn't change from my perspective, from my perception, honestly. And that's... Steve has been pretty focused for a really long time on a certain role within the industry. Kind of a watchdog role. Steve can be entertaining, Steve is not an entertainer. Steve aspires to journalism. Does he always achieve it? Having known actual journalists and watch professional journalists, like people who came from print, things like that. People like Gordon. Gordon throws his opinions around all the time. Gordon threw his opinions around all the time, but when it was time to report stuff, he just reported stuff. When it came time to podcast, he'd have some fun. I don't think Steve can make that. There's not that line of demarcation. And that's a difficult separation to make, I think. I never studied journalism. I'm not a journalist. I never made claims to that. Even when I was on a call with Gordon and Adam, and I said something like that, and Gordon was like, "You are a journalist." And I was like, no. I do not want to make that claim. I do not want that responsibility because I understand how serious of a responsibility that is. This is Gordon Ma-ung telling me I'm a journalist. Like, that's crazy, because inside I was like, hoo. But in here I was like, no, take a step back. And it's very kind of him to say so. It is. And it was. He was a very, very kind and generous dude to his peers. He was. Not always to brands. That's part of his job. But what I think it is that Steve aspires to that. And that is a wonderful, wonderful aspiration to have. It is. But you can't say that we are a journalistic outfit. And that's what we are. We're an organization, a journal, like, and then try to be funny and or get super angry at the same time. And hyperbole is hyperbole. Hyperbole is fine. It's okay. But there's certain practices that you follow. And no, it's not just reaching out to people, okay? It's not just reaching out before you report on stuff. That's one of many, okay? I mean, hell, I don't do that. I don't claim to, okay, I can't really compare myself because I don't claim journalism to be a tech journalist. I don't claim that. I'm not. I think what appeals to me more is educating. That's what appeals to me more, and entertaining. I like those two things. That's when education usually works best, is when it's combined with entertainment, but to a certain degree. Anyway, Steve has done some wonderful things for consumers. I think splitting off the consumer advocacy from the hardware review stuff, brilliant stuff. That was a great move. I'm 100% behind that. I think that's awesome. Because that can muddy the waters when it comes to straightforward hardware reviews. I think it would not be a bad thing to, at least in your scripts, separate your editorial thoughts. In your scripts, actually have a point where you're like, okay, let me get into the editorial side of this. These are my opinions. This is, we're even taking off the journalist hat, or actually journalists do editorials. That's normal. But it's really different from reading numbers off of a chart to say that so-and-so is a bad company or whatever. No, you say what they did and then what they did about that in response. That's just straight up journalism. Really. Just reporting what happened, reporting facts. It's kind of a dry thing. It's not full of vitriol and emotion, sniping. It's not. It's just not that. Now, I love that stuff. I would have zero issue with anything Steve ever did if not for the claim to journalism and then holding other people to a standard he doesn't meet himself exactly. And not to say that he doesn't get close. We're not talking about it's horseshoes and hand grenades kind of thing. Well, we are talking about horseshoes and hand grenades. Like, if you get close to it, it's still not that. It's still hypocritical to call other people out unless you're doing the exact thing that you're saying they're not doing. Whatever. Anyways, I'm getting off course here. I have a ton of respect for Steve. I do. I told him that when I met him in person for the first time at Computex. You know what I told him after that? I don't agree with how you do. I don't agree with your pre-built reviews. To be fair, he reacted the way I kind of knew he would, with interest. Not writing me off, because if I had just said, "Oh, you're the greatest," that sounds like, "Yeah, hey, thanks." When I was like, "I'm the pre-built guy and I don't agree with your pre-built reviews," and he was like, "Okay." Like, there's an interesting discussion to be had here. With I of course I haven't earned his respect or anything. I mean, he watched one interview I did. He said I did a good job as an interviewer. The second half of that comment was him correcting me. Very Steve, very much a Steve thing to do. But to avoid any kind of sort of parasocial tendencies, like, I don't know him as a person, okay? I've watched his stuff for a long time. I feel like the persona, because we all kind of have a persona to us when we're on YouTube. I'm very close to who I am normally when I do this, because I don't, but he is almost painted into a corner with the persona that he has, where, and he's mentioned this before, if he does a positive pre-built review, it doesn't get as many views. That's a problem. How can you be impartial and keep your channel going then? How can you do that? There's more to that. I'm not going to get into all that again. Was I in the middle of helping somebody? Chat is going to come back later. That's right. I've been ignoring chat. I'm sorry. I just look into the camera when I'm getting serious about something. I don't know. I honestly think it would be awesome to just have a sit down chat with Steve about pre-built reviews and the pre-built industry. You know, he has been scrutinizing it longer than I have, but not as focused as I am. Like, I am really focused on it. And I think I have a more positive take because it's not as bleak as a lot of critics, like people who constantly criticize, who are DIY enthusiasts. It's not as bleak as that. It's honestly a lot better than you would think if you only watch Steve's reviews of pre-builts. That's the problem. The problem is, if you only watch one viewpoint and it makes things seem way out of proportion, that's not exactly an unbiased viewpoint. That, or they just have terrible luck with buying PCs. Anyway, Tanmay said Buildzoid is great. Buildzoid is great. AHOC is a good channel. Same thing with GPUs. I'm not sure, Silent Lamb, what that was referring to, but yes. Maybe Cyberpower outsourced the jobs to AI. That would probably be an improvement. Sorry, since they've decided that I don't exist, I love dunking on them. It's great. And it's not even an ego thing for me. I have 95% of the SI industry talking to me. Like, that's not an ego thing anymore. It's just a fact of life. I'm just like, whatever, I don't care. You're not exactly ego checking me, Cyberpower. It's just, no one's ever going to hear your side of the story when it comes to me. So, okay, sure. Lux Tizer, what's up? We need a micro center here in the UK. Come to North Carolina, man. Ours is great. UK is over the pond. It is. I know, but you could take a nice vacation and buy some great PC parts. The VAT would kill him. Yeah. You're right. I didn't even consider that. My bad. Me and you and your friend Steve. Well, Linus didn't give a bad review of the Cyberpower PC. The two things I remember Linus critiquing on was single channel memory and customer service. Ghost Poner, that's the problem. The problem is the customer service. And if you go and look at, I mean, also, they also make stupid decisions when speccing out their PCs, like setting all of the fans to exhaust because they look better that way. That's such an amateur move. Like, I get that. If you were building your first PC and you did that, you're an amateur, and that's totally fine. You can learn and fix from that. Cyberpower's been around a long time. They're deciding they don't care. I can't look at one PC and evaluate a company. I can look at their website and evaluate their intentions, and their intentions are stupid. Their attention to detail doesn't seem to be there. It's just about, RGB. Yeah, that must be a nice computer. And then it's just hotboxing the whole time because it's like, all it's going to do, it's going to be negative airflow so that any unfiltered air access in there is going to be sucking in dusty air all the time. And it's just not going to cool properly, or it's going to get super dusty all the time, even if it does cool properly. Hope this isn't a bad time to ask, but what microphone do you use? This beauty right here is a Shure, S-H-U-R-E, Super 55. I love this thing. And it is a take on their old classic. All right, you got it. Tanmay, thank you for the lurk. I appreciate that. They moved out of state a while ago, so I was mostly just catching. Oh, I didn't get that detailed with them. I didn't want to drag out that depressing conversation. What are you talking about? Oh, yeah. I didn't get that about the person who was laid off by Intel. I didn't get that detailed with them. I didn't want to drag out the depressing conversation. They moved out of state a while ago, so I was mostly just catching up with them. Yeah, well, at a number like 15,000 people, it's not going to be that much of for someone to know somebody who worked for Intel that lost their job. It's really sad. I guess I mean to say, why would anyone who has a bit of DIY expertise buy a pre-built? Just seeking your opinion, not trying to offend anyone at all. Plenty of reasons. Oh, you made the process of building my PC so easy. I can't imagine ever buying a pre-built. What are thoughts on that? I got you. Okay, so I've had people who've been building PCs for as long as I have come in and say, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't have the time to do it anymore. I just want to buy a pre-built. Or they're like, hey, this is for so-and-so in my family or one of my friends. I don't want to give them tech support and build their PC. Have to build a PC. I want them to have tech support and warranty. It could be a third or fourth PC for some people in a professional application or an office, or like they're starting a business, they need a PC, they don't want to build it. They want to have a warranty because it's a business asset. All kinds of reasons are out there that make a ton of sense. Also, for someone who is just starting out, starting out with a PC that has been tested, warranted, shipped to you, and all that stuff, it's already working, operating system's already good to go, and you know it's going to work, that's a great way to get into the PC gaming hobby. Because you have to understand, people who want to get into PC gaming do not have to build that PC. It's actually the majority of people buy pre-builds. It is a much smaller percentage. We're talking about like maybe 20 to 25 to 30% of PC hardware per year goes to DIY. Most of it goes to pre-builds. Because it's a niche hobby to build a PC, but it's not as much of a niche hobby now to be a PC gamer. It is the #1 gateway to PC gaming and the #1 gateway to PC DIY, because once you have a PC that already works, you can get into PC building by learning how to upgrade and modify the PC that you have that works. You have a working system there, learn how to add storage, learn how to upgrade the RAM, how to swap the GPU, really easy stuff, and then work up to the more difficult things. Swap CPU cooler, swap your CPU, do things like that, swap a power supply, a little bit more involved. Swap your case, that's like building a PC. Suddenly, you feel comfortable building a PC. Most people who are DIY enthusiasts now started with a pre-built. I was also looking at the Electro Voice RE20. RE20 is a very popular microphone. I like the aesthetic of this one. RE20 has a nice aesthetic too, but I think this one's a little nicer. RE20 might have better sound, but that's all in your EQ anyway. I need to adjust my EQ a little bit, actually. It's probably not super great. I need to adjust my compression. It's a little over compressed, but it works. Bean Dealer raises his hand. I can do it. I just don't have the spoons desire anymore. I don't do it often enough to keep up with the industry standards. So every time I do it, I have to do research, and it's an endless grind for something I do every 3 to 5 years. That's fine. Everybody's different. What you found easy, Heart Racer, someone might find too intimidating, and they might not have. Sometimes there's people who can have a recipe book for cooking and are very bad at following recipes. Some people can open a recipe book for the first time, look at a recipe, make it perfectly. And it's the same thing when it comes to following different kinds of instructions online. What makes sense to one wouldn't necessarily be easily learned by another. So, and there's also people who didn't start out with a pre-built, but that's because they had a cousin or an uncle or someone around who knew how to build a PC that was willing to help them. That's a very, very lucky thing, and it's not that common. EQ sounds great, man. Thank you. It's usually when I get into video editing software that I go in to edit the audio, and I'm like, it's a little over compressed. I could probably clean that up a little bit. Yeah, I think yours sounds great. That's why I asked. Well, thank you. You see these on podcasts and stuff. They're really, really well-known microphones for speaking and for singing. I was extremely intimidating until I found you how I made it. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Thank you. I have looked back at some of my PC building streams, not just unboxing, but the building ones, and I'm like, that's not too hard to follow. That's not too hard to follow for how to build a PC. It's just specific to that PC, I guess. Looking for something new for voiceovers and voice acting, and I'm not the most knowledgeable person when it comes to microphones. Okay. Demyansk, if that's how you say that. If you're doing voiceover, no, I would. This is a broadcast microphone. It's meant to have that boomy kind of sound. It's sort of, it is very much, they call it super cardioid. So it's very focused, and that's fine for voice acting. It has nice off-axis rejection though. But what you want for voice acting is actually a large diaphragm condenser microphone. Because with that, you're catching higher and lower frequencies in your voice. I can actually show you a really good example of this, okay? Let me find this video real quick.
Kind of crazy.
I imagine you're probably familiar with CDog VA, right? He's probably one of my favorite streamers, and just content creators. Really cool, really, really good content. I have yet to run into him at TwitchCon, and that makes me sad. But you know, anyways, let's take a look at this. So This is a Neumann. Very, very expensive, large diaphragm condenser microphone. I'm zoomed in, sorry. Right here. That's a great freeze frame I got there. But listen to this. He's going to go from that to, admittedly, not something like this, but a lavalier microphone. I'm not trying to showcase what a lavalier can do. I'm trying to, what it can't do. I'm trying to show you what a large diaphragm condenser microphone can do in terms of catching more nuance of your voice. Okay.
By now, you might have realized that Japan loves lucky bags, and they also love crane games. So, when I heard that they decided to combine these two things, you know I had to make a video about it. So, I'm hoping
Just
with a much smaller
here.
budget than usual, just $200, we can maybe win some amazing prizes out of these lucky bags. Let's find out.
But, of course, I can't do it alone. Kaho is going to be joining me on this lucky bag madness. Now,
you see what I'm saying? The difference here is the size of the capsule in the lavalier microphone versus the size of the capsule and the giant diaphragm that's in the condenser microphone. It's longer sound waves. It's going to catch better nuance to your voice. So the downside, though, let's talk about that. The downside, I got to turn this down before I play the music again. The downside, though, to getting a condenser microphone versus a dynamic microphone, which is what most broadcast microphones are. Most broadcast microphones are dynamic microphones, okay? And a condenser microphone is different because it gets powered up and it's more sensitive that way. You run phantom power to those, okay? So they're more sensitive. Like dynamic microphones, you got to crank the decibels on them because they don't get phantom power. They just... Anyways, so the downside to that, you don't get the same kind of, you need to get closer to these. With a condenser microphone, you generally want to be about that far away, but you can tell when I'm this far away from a dynamic mic, it doesn't sound as good as when I'm right here. But with a condenser mic, you saw how far away Sea-Dog was. It's about a hang 10. That's about how far you want to be away from a condenser. The downside is room noise. If you want the best option for voiceover work or voice acting, you want a condenser microphone, but that means you do need to treat the room. There are cheap ways to do that. There's medium ways to do that. There are more expensive ways to do that. You can just hang up some sound blankets, but good ones, like Producer's Choice, I think is the name of the brand. They can be, you might spend $300-400 on that, or just get cheap foam. It's already going to be a good start. You can even just hang up blankets from the ceiling around you, just regular blankets, and that's going to be a start too. Make yourself a little booth that way. Or a closet with carpet and clothes in there is not bad either. Trust me, I tried a lot of stuff when I was trying to do voice acting. Well, I didn't really try to do voice acting when I was thinking about doing it, and then I ended up just doing YouTube instead. Would you have any recommendations for one around or under 450? I like the Shure KSM32. That's the one that I have for voiceover work. Shure KSM32, but there's probably better options now because I shopped for that years ago. Years ago. You know what's a decent one, actually? You might be surprised by this, but the Elgato Wave 3 is a large diaphragm condenser microphone. It's not the best on the market, but you do get powerful software with it. There are some voice actors that are amateur voice actors that I've seen using that microphone. Silent Lamb says, I love Shure mics. Got the new MV7 Plus myself. Shure mics are awesome. You notice the one I recommended was a Shure KSM32. Yeah. You know who I would follow? Demiansk. I would follow Podcastage. This guy right here. Podcastage. Podcastage makes videos that are super dry, like super dry, but they are extremely detailed in their reviews. He is the videos are. He is extremely detailed in what he does. He covers all kinds of audio hardware. How much to spend on a mic? There you go. There's a video right there that's 9 minutes. XLR versus USB. Which one should you get? That one's 8 minutes, 39 seconds. There you go. Lots of great stuff. It's just podcast here. Gift giving is a perfect example. Want to put an engine in your own car? I did buy, but I don't anymore. Yeah, I've never done that. That's a bit much for me. 3080 Ti or 7900 XT? 7900 XT, I guess. It depends on whether. Well, I mean, 7900 XT has probably comparable ray tracing to 30 series ish. Thanks for Signal RGB recommendation. After removing Height Nexus and Armory Crate, I got it working. There you go. Nice. That's the mic I have, the Quadcast 2. Oh, nice. Well, if you want to know way too much about it, watch that video from Podcastage. I really appreciate it, man. You're great at what you do. Thank you. I'll have a look at them. You got it. Carnage Vortex 6, what's up? Oh, you asked it. Oh, you asked it again in the Twitch, on the YouTube channel. I got you. Mostly for gaming, and I found 700 XT for $400. That's crazy. 3080 Ti for about $500, but I'm building Height Revolt 3 for the first time. 7900 XT is probably what I would get. Just if there's an option for ray tracing, turn it off. You'll get better performance, and you'll still have a good time. Just sub. There you go. I gotta tell you guys, like, there's no thing that I try out that I do halfway. I always get way too in the weeds on everything I try. It's a problem. It's a problem. Because there are ways to try different hobbies and stuff that don't cost an arm and a leg, and I always end up spending a little too much. Well, I try not to overspend on my hobbies, but time-wise, I definitely put too much into each one of them. And then, if it's not for me, I end up giving it up, but it is what it is. But I've only got, I don't ever want to look back at something that a hobby that I might have been able to pick up for a long time and been like, I should have put more time into that. I might have really loved it, or I might have done well at it if I just put more effort into it. I don't allow myself that regret. Go big or go home. See, Visual Nate, why can't you do both? Go big, then go home. I like that one more. You have any recommendations on a headset by chance? I've been slightly disappointed in the quality I'm getting from my Bose, but maybe it's just because it's a headset. You're talking about like the microphone on it, or just like the audio from it? I mean, that's not my expertise. Who I would probably look for headset reviews, Bad Seed Tech. I'd look at Bad Seed Tech. Thank you, Visual Nate. Appreciate that. Cutting the Gordian knot, yeah. When it comes to microphones, back to the microphone thing, I have a bit of a problem. I have talked to a couple of companies that would like to have me review their microphone, or want to be my microphone, my main microphone. I don't ever want to get rid of this thing, and Shure is not interested in me. They're not. Why would they be? I reviewed pre-built PCs. And I'm not like, Senpai Gaming, where I cover a lot of streaming tech and microphones and things like that. But I never want to get rid of this one. This is my, I love the look of this. I'm like associated with the look of this thing now at this point. I'm even using it in pre-built rebuilt in a really cool way. I think you'll like it. Well, I mean, in a pretty standard way, but you know what I mean. I don't think anyone else has submitted a form yet. Nope. Chad, I'm going to go ahead and reset that one too. I've had to reset a lot of these to where I haven't helped out yet. But I've said that at the beginning of these like, here's the thing. It's either I do that or I don't do PC matchmaking and I just do some other kind of stream, I guess. Braithwaite, your setup does look and sound super legit. Thank you. This is not a good room acoustically, which is why I actually am probably going to have to use this thing, why I have to use this thing for pre-built rebuild, because I'm standing in the middle of the room. I don't have any acoustic treatment in here. I was talking to a company that wanted to have to help me do my walls and stuff, but I just don't have the time for it to make content out of that. Because the thing is, guys, there's no such thing as a free product. You're expected to do to put hours and hours and hours and hours into producing a video for anything that you get for free, to the point where if I'm looking at a $150 microphone and I spend 10 hours making a video for that, or maybe 15 hours, something like that. Let me see. Let's stick with 10. I mean, that's what? It's like a 15-hour. Is that $15 an hour job? I guess. I don't know. I can't math. It's too late. It's too late for me. No, I mean it's too late at night. But no, let's say it's 15 hours. Well, that's $10 an hour. I'm getting $10. I'm working for $10 an hour at that point. And what do I get? Not a paycheck. I have a microphone there that I'm never going to use because I'm going to use this one forever. Would you recommend buying from Jawa? I've seen some good deals on there. Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily. Okay, I'm guessing they're changing things up. I was gonna say I wouldn't necessarily recommend like content creators working with Jawa because my experience with them was really bad. Where they asked me for help on something, wanted to collaborate on something. I ended up putting hours into making a form for them because I'd never made one before, and then they took that and never talked to me again. It was special. It was definitely a special time for me because I was like, I guess I'm never working with this company. Holy crap. But for customers, it's good. They have protections on there. I might sell through there at some point. If I ever run into Zach again, I want to talk to him about it because he's a part owner of Jawa now. And it was just, as a content creator, I'm sure he would appreciate the fact that they didn't treat me well. They stole my time and then stole my idea, basically. But I know Zach wouldn't do that. He wasn't part owner at the time, I think. It was a while back. Jawa was still fairly new. Not new, no. But they hadn't been around for like years at that point, only for a little while. Maybe a year or two. Maybe. 700 XTX and 900 XTD for 1800 looked enticing to me. That's a killer combo. It is. Sorry if it's been covered when we see pre-built rebuilt. I did cover that. It's going to be Q1 of this year. I don't want to give exact dates because then I panic. And it's like I'm trying to not also, because I'm also having someone else work on this. I don't want to stress them. I need to redo a lot of my footage because it wasn't very good when I looked at trying to green screen it out because I'm doing some green screen stuff. It was really bad. I need to redo a lot of stuff, actually. A lot of the work I did initially was going to be for the initial sponsor, which was going to be Deepcool. Yeah, that didn't work out. So that's all a lot of work I put into it last year, down the drain. Because when you're making content about something like a product like Deepcool's fans or cases, things like that, suddenly that can't be on the screen anymore. Yay. Last year was wild, y'all. Like, how did I make it? Like, even without all the job stuff, 6 months without my chronic fatigue syndrome meds. The last 6 months of 2024, I did not have my treatment for chronic fatigue syndrome. I don't know how I did it. Oh, I know how I did everything. Mountains of caffeine, or swimming pools full of it, I guess. It was very unhealthy. Yeah, I plan on getting the 9800X 3D to heard it's really good. Here's the thing, Carnage Vortex 6. It's the fastest gaming CPU on the market. If you're playing competitively at 1080p, it can make a big difference. If you're gaming at 4K, it makes like no difference. The only thing is, when I have someone come in with a $4,000 budget, they should get the best parts. So it makes sense for them. But the reason I put it in the $2,000 system that I did with Skytech was because it had improvements in productivity tasks and multi-threaded processes over the 7800X 3D. So I was like, gaming and streaming, this is going to be a monster for that. Let's do that. 1440p, gaming and streaming, done. If you're just gaming at 4K or so, even at 1440p, you'll see some benefits at 1440p. But at 4K, that diminishes a lot because it's GPU bound at that point. Not trying to sound rude, but do you have ADHD? ADD, no H in there, because I also have chronic fatigue syndrome. If I had hyperactivity, I mean, the medication I take tends to get me a little bit hyper, which feels great. It's better than barely being able to move. I'll tell you that. I spent a good hour on the phone with the Java rep for verification. I had really good notes, none of which were considered. Yet they sponsor creators with 6 months experience. Not sure how that works. No idea. Gadgetry Tech is also a great channel for headset reviews, says TJ. All right. I'll keep that in mind. I'm going to tell you this, Demi Angst. Even since before my CFS, or chronic fatigue syndrome, developed, I was a performer. Since my teenage years, or even a little earlier, I liked being in stage plays, performances, musical performing, things like that. And all the way into my adulthood, being part of an comedy improv group, live comedy improv group for years, honed my skills there, and just being part of the community theaters or wherever I was for many, many years. When the camera turns on, whatever energy I've got left, it all comes out. After I turn the camera off, I'm like, I learned that you let it all out. Everything you've got, everything you have goes. I'm also a big talker. Like I just talk a lot. It's perfect for streaming. I just kind of constantly have to talk. So, I mean, not have to. I'm not like compulsive. I enjoy it. So you'll see me have a lot of energy on here. It's literally everything I've got. Like, that's it. Without the treatment that I have this is the way I prefer to explain this. For those who don't understand chronic fatigue syndrome, it can be kind of a gradient, you know. Some people have it worse than others. It's not the worst. There are people who literally cannot move all day. They can't do anything. They lay in bed all day because it's really like that. But the way I like to look at it is, however, the average person, like you might be when it comes to energy levels, however you feel at the end of the day, after you've worked your job, maybe gone out with some friends or just came home, did stuff around the house or apartment, and just did things, and then it's nearly bedtime and you're like, oh man, I just want to lay down and just close my eyes and not move until the morning. That's how I start my day feeling, and how it feels all day. Now, when you're feeling that way, you can still do stuff if you have to. If you're like out for hours and hours and hours, you can still drive yourself home. You can still, go take a shower, do whatever, get undressed, go to bed, maybe make a snack, have some. You can still function a little bit, but you don't want to, and you don't think you really can, but you do it. That's chronic fatigue syndrome in a nutshell. My medication that I take makes me feel like an average person, I think. I don't know. I haven't known for a long time what the average person feels like with energy. It sucks. Now, when I don't have that and I have to go off of caffeine, that's no fun because it feels different. It feels like you're buzzing on caffeine constantly. That's not fun. That was me for the last 6 months before the beginning of January. There was a nationwide shortage of medication I take. So I appreciate those words. Thank you. I got that PC, it'd mainly be for streaming and competitive at 1080p. I also enjoy a lot of single-player games, so I definitely want the option for 4K. Yeah, being able to go back and forth is really nice. Being able to have either one. All right, I'm also debating about the 700X, and it's $100 cheaper than 9800X 3D at Micro Center. So should I go for that over the 9800X 3D? Well, are you doing anything other than gaming, Carnage Vortex 6? Anything other than gaming? Yeah, sure, I guess. If you're only gaming, no, not at all. Do not do it. Maybe look at the 7800X 3D instead. If you're just gaming, 3DV cache is the way to go. Check something here real quick. Wow. A lot of people on tonight. Okay. All right, I know. Okay. Gaming, and I'm getting back into streaming too with some friends of mine. 9800X 3D or 7800X 3D. 8 cores, 16 threads is plenty for streaming. Yeah, that should be fine. It's a great streaming CPU. Either one of those is great for streaming. Tech Grand, thank you for lurking. We are about to end though, but I do appreciate the lurk very much. Matt, Redux looks to have good deals with the 50 series RTX release. Have you heard of any issues with the motherboard RAM storage? Yes. The RAM and storage is old. They use old RAM and old storage. Slower NVMe drives, slower RAM, unless they changed something and didn't tell me, even though they promised they would do the thing and then let me know. Also, their case that has the fish tank look, it sucks. The airflow is terrible on it. So no, I don't recommend Redux. They went the wrong way. They've dropped customization, and they were going towards having more customization, and they were just like, you know what? That's something like, I don't know. I don't want to talk mess about them. There's good people working there. It's just I don't like the decisions they made. Not those people necessarily, but the higher ups over there. It's not good. It's not good. What's your thoughts on the 5090? Check the VOD, because I talked about it a lot earlier. But if you're not, it's okay. If you're just gaming and you're not gaming at 4K, don't bother. You don't need the VRAM at all for just gaming. Just get a 5080 for literally half the price. Literally half the price. You can buy two 5080s for the price of one 5090. Don't bother if you're not going to game at 4K with all the ray tracing, all the features. It is built for that. Yeah. Streaming is fun. I'm glad you guys are getting into it. It is a fun thing to do. Speaking of which, we are going to go ahead and raid a buddy of mine, ex-military man. Please come along with me. If you like what I do and you want to and you want to support what I do not ask for subscriptions, for subs. I don't ask for donos. I don't ask for bits. I just ask that you come along with me whenever I raid and just say something nice. Drop some emotes. Make it hype. That is literally all I want. If I ask anything in return, it's just that. I like. Wow. Okay. I guess not. Thanks, Gary. Trying to say something nice. Jeez. That probably was not how you intended that to sound. Ex-military man is playing Delta Force. Really, really nice dude. Please just share a little bit of hype and niceties with them. Even if you got to go, it costs you nothing to say something nice to somebody. And that is all I want for 2025. Everybody just be a little more nice to each other. Is there any reason to use 2 GPUs? Only in a very, very specific use case where you're doing rendering on a separate GPU. You cannot anymore use that in conjunction with the primary GPU for rendering games. You can use it as a separate renderer for rendering out captures or footage or things like that. That's the only reason to do that. So no, I'm not giving you an excuse to buy 2 5080s. They don't work in conjunction with each other. Not like that anyway. Took a sweet time to queue. Wow. It took that long, huh? Wow. Thoughts? Thinking of getting a 5080 or 5090 for gaming and streaming, but not sure which to get. Plus for video editing. I mean, if it's primarily for video editing, or if you're like gaming at 4K, then sure. If you can afford it, get a 5090. If not, 5080 is fine. They have the 9th generation NVENC in there, and that is supposed to be a lot better. It can actually render and at 422 color, which is really nice. If you're really into camera stuff. If you're not, then that's really when you're working with really high-end footage. Then it's really good. So yeah, I would do it. But though the thing is, even a 5070 or 5070 Ti can do that rendering. So 30 seconds. Okay, well, it wasn't necessarily for that. All right. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for listening to my ramblings. I will be back on Sunday for a gaming stream only on Twitch. That's where those happen. If you're ever like, man, I want to see this guy is kind of funny or whatever, kind of funny looking at least. I want to watch him play some games. Sunday. Come by on Sunday. Doing Hollow Knight randomizer there. It's a lot of fun. You got it, Baz the Trash. You got it. Thank you, Frank. Where are you going? I am gonna stop streaming now, but everyone's moving over to a friend of mine to their stream. All right, guys. I'll see you on the next one. And until then, take care.
Let's go, nerds!